everyone to the CONCACAF Connection. I don't know what episode this is. Name's still pending to change. We'll see if we ever actually get to it. Um, how's everyone been in this past week? Anything fun going on?
Just school and work for me. It's nothing really fun about that. In fact, I'm looking at an assignment I have to do before tomorrow.
Sounds like a great time.
So it's
Also,
really
you can't
not.
ruin my mood this week, so hey.
No, fair enough. Don't we still have the cup, Wimbledon?
International break.
I thought they were doing the cup before. We're gonna have that cooking before international break. I wasn't sure. I thought it
We
was.
already played Wimbledon
No, we didn't. When?
2 games ago.
Am I crazy?
Yeah, you guys were like losing to them for a second.
Oh, that's right. I do remember this now. Okay. For some reason, I thought that was still coming up. That's
We're on to the next one.
It's an unmemorable game, but I guess that's a good place to start. Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest. Abdon, how do you feel with the 1-0 result?
I'm sad. Everything isn't Poch's fault. I can't even blame a single player. It's Poch's fault.
Oh, it's Poch's fault.
Yes.
Do you think
he's not putting us in a position to succeed? He's just not.
You're already Poch out 4 games in the season.
No. I'm not Poch out. But he's been setting us up for failure. He's doing this bullshit 4 at the back with Chilwell as left wing. I know he did it for Liverpool, and I can understand why he did it because it's to defend on TAA. It worked all against Liverpool, so he put it against West Ham. It didn't work, so at that point, fuck this shit. Let's go back to what we did, and in preseason that worked, and let's just move on from there. But no, he's kept it going. We won the next game. What the fuck game was it? It was Luton. We won against Luton. It can't be hard to fucking win against Luton as a top 6 team. We did it again against Wimbledon. We looked horrible against Wimbledon and got it back at the end. And now here we are again at another loss against Nottingham Forest. What the fuck are we doing?
Well, let me propose you something, Abdon. Let me propose something to you. Do you think is it actually Poch's fault, or is it the? I mean, obviously the formation he's choosing that. He's trying to fit in certain players, but do you think the players he's trying to fit in are the players that he's been accused of fitting in, like Thiago Silva, Ben Chilwell, Raheem Sterling, those kind of players? Is it because the board have given him too much youth and he wants more experienced players on the pitch, and that's why he's choosing the formation he does?
I mean, we don't know the specific reason why he's choosing these players. But first of all, you're not going to drop Thiago Silva when you're betting in 2 new center backs in your team. I know Kobo had a full season at Brighton, so he has experience in the Premier League. Disasi just came in; he wasn't here for the full preseason. We'll see what we do going forward past this international break once Badia Shield comes back. I don't expect him to start from the get-go, but I could see long-term a Colwill Badia Shield center back partnering, or a Badia Shield Disasi, one of the two. I just want a left back in the left back role, because what we're doing is we're putting Colwill as a left back, and we're seeing Colwill spray these passes across the field, and they're great. Who's it coming to? Fucking Chilwell. Chilwell gets it, he touches it, good. We get to the byline, it goes out for a corner. Why? Because Chilwell is not a left winger. Either leave Colwill as a left back and put a fucking an actual left winger or a winger as a left winger, or put Colwill in the center back spot and have him spray those passes to Jackson. Let Jackson run under those passes. Let Jackson do the touch in front of the goal. If he doesn't get the shot off, maybe he can get the pass off to the wings. Let him do a bit of a creation. I understand it's more difficult because it's against 2 center backs instead of 1, but it's not working with Chilwell unless we put Mudryk or Madueke or Matson up in the left wing, who are more inclined to attack. Let them get it and pass it through. I understand Mudryk has been shit. Can't deny it. I understand Madueke is a right winger. Sterling has said he doesn't want to be moved around a shit ton of positions. So leave him as a right wing if he wants to stay at right wing. Put Madueke as a left wing. He's a fucking kid. He can figure it out. He's what, 20 years old, 19 years old? He's not bed in as right winger yet. Let him figure it out. If he wants to play, he's got to fucking play where he's got to play.
So I agree with you, except for one thing you said, and I think that that's a core problem of the mindset we have because we have such a young squad. It's that what you just said about Madueke about leaving him on the left and letting him figure it out because he's a kid. I think that's the problem. I think we have too much youth and we're relying too much on this youth, and obviously we signed, big name players, whether or not they were at the level they should be to be coming in and challenging. That's a whole different discussion. And you're right. Mudryk has not been good. Only time will tell. I still think that he actually needs a run of games to actually pick up form and pick up confidence. I am probably the only Chelsea fan that thinks that Ian Maatsen is not as good as people make him out to be. Like, I understand he ripped up in the championship. I understand that he's very dynamic. He's fast. He drives. But so far at the top level, I've not been impressed from what I've seen. I don't think he's ready. I think he probably should have been, if we want him to get more experience, he should have been loaned out. And I think that because Chelsea overall, like we spoke about earlier in our group chat, with the poor scouting, not in the sense that we signed a bunch of young players, but the issue is we're betting that these young players are almost guaranteed to get good, and that's not the case. When in reality, we should be signing these young players and signing stars for right now that are at the level that are proven. I think that our department, like our head of sports and head of development and our scouting team are just letting us down. I think it's just as many issues we have with Poch and as many things I don't agree with what he's doing on the field. I definitely do think we didn't give him the best tools that we possibly could have. Same thing with Potter. And it was worse way last season for Potter because, we didn't have a strategy at all, and that was a whole mess.
Is, what you're saying it's about youth right now. Potter had more experienced players than youth last season.
No, and that's what I mean. I don't think we gave him the right tools, but that was also a mess because we also we bought Aubameyang, and we bought, there was another player that was
Cucurella.
Yeah, and when those were originally, for better or for worse, Tuchel signings. You could argue that Cucurella and Koulibaly were, just signings for the moment, and I get that, and they flopped, and that's a whole different discussion. But I also think that, this season we could have brought in, with the amount of money we spent, we could have brought in some quality players. I'm happy that we brought in youngsters, don't get me wrong. I think we should plan for the future. But I also think that we're relying too much on youth. When you look at our team, we don't have that much proven players, to be honest with you. We got a World Cup winner that had a good year. I'm glad for Enzo Fernandez. That's fine. We have Caicedo, who has Premier League experience, but, okay, he got 6th place with Brighton. We're betting that the money we spent on him is going to change our midfield. And it might still, time will tell with him. I'm not trying to be too critical about him. But we also signed a bunch of other players from Brazil and from France that aren't ready to be in this team. With that money, we could have bought in, another left back for when we know, Ben Chilwell isn't going to be, has the potential of being injured. We know Ian Maatsen, at least in my opinion, is not ready to take his spot. Cucurella is not a good fit in our team, I don't think. We could have buffed up our midfield because one thing we are lacking is creativity because, like you said, we're crossing the cross at this point. We're not playing to our players' best strategies or best strengths. And so I think that we definitely need a creative offensive midfielder. And I just think that as much as we can blame Poch, it is a club, it's a structural issue.
I mean, the issue is that we're looking at it as it is right now. First of all, with your Matson point, I'm not saying he's the best option. I'm just saying I'd rather see Matson, who we've only seen in preseason. We haven't seen him in the league really. I'd rather see him at left wing and put Chilwell at left back. Let Chilwell deputize in his position and not at left wing.
Yeah, I agree with
Chilwell
you
literally
there.
had 44% pass completion.
Yeah,
As a professional footballer, that's disgusting.
yeah, and I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying Ben Chilwell needs to be a left winger. I agree with you. He needs to be in the left back. But I also think that we have two quality players in Sterling who played on the left.
Sterling
Who would
wants
probably
to play right wing.
does he
He
though?
wants to play. Yes, he told Podge sometime in the preseason. He said, "I played 8 different positions last year, and it didn't work for me. Please put me in one spot
Mm-hmm.
and leave me there." So
And
that's why I said put Madueke on the left, because if Sterling, your most experienced attacker, has told you himself, please leave me here. Don't move him from there. He's played great the last couple games. Leave him there and try out another player over here, even if he is a right winger technically. Like,
no, and I get that, but I also think that I I get what you're saying, Sterling, but Sterling never specifically said he wanted to play on the right wing. I also think that Sterling's best position is on the left, and he is basically kind of just be free roaming on that right hand side. And he did great against Luton, but let's be honest, he wasn't great against Liverpool on that right hand side. He was decent against West Ham, but I like the improvement I've seen on him on the right, but I also don't think that's his best position. I think that, and we have right wingers, and I don't disagree with you. I'm fine with it. But if we're gonna, I would rather just give Mudryk his shot then. Let him actually get a couple full
that's
games under his
exactly.
belt.
Everyone's saying it.
No,
Exactly.
yeah, and so I think that's what I'm saying. I think that this next transfer window, the strategy has to change a little bit. I think we have to buy more.
But it doesn't matter about the transfer window right now. Like, forget the transfer window.
No,
It's done. It's
yeah,
closed until
yeah,
January. Right now, we need to figure out what the best spot is, and right now we need to start playing players in positions that benefit the team.
yeah.
We're playing Enzo as the 10 to allow Gallagher to be the deeper line midfielder next to Caicedo. Why? Enzo is better deeper, controlling the pace of the game and spraying long passes across the field. Put fucking Palmer at 10, drop stupid Gallagher, put Caicedo in his position, and fucking run the midfield. Like, Caicedo was at fault for the goal, yes. But who was the fucking one that played the dummy in the middle of the field with 3 players around them? Gallagher. Why are you playing the dummy there? Gallagher can at least take the ball and fucking pass it back to Disasi, who passed it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it Gusto? Either one of the two. But no, he fucking plays the dummy, and then Caicedo has to take the touch. Horrible touch, yes. Not a good touch. But he was already in a position to fail, because even if it takes a good touch, he has 3 players running at him.
Yeah.
So play the players in the position that will benefit the team. Put Palmer in the 10. I don't care if he's a right winger or left winger or whatever the fuck he is. Just put him at the 10, because he was showed when he came on that he was fucking able to do the penetrative long passes. He's the reason why we got that Jackson miss, because he played between the lines pass to Sterling. Sterling beat the man and passed the ball to Jackson. Jackson missed it. Yes, bad miss. But at the end of the day, I can't fault the guy when he got one shot in the whole game.
No, I agree with that, but then I think that just comes back because I like Palmer. I think he's good, but I think we are desperately missing a creative player, a truly creative player. Like I
Yes,
know,
and it's Nkunku and it's Carney.
Carney. You see, even with those two, I don't think that's the players we need. I think Carney, from what I've seen, he doesn't have that vision, and neither does Nkunku. Nkunku's fantastic. I love Nkunku. He's a goal scoring cam, basically. He scored a goal scoring 10. Like I love him, but I don't think even with those two, I think we'd be in a similar situation. To be honest with you.
But if you see what we're missing in the team is Jackson's coming in deep to receive the ball. No one's occupying the space that Jackson leaves because it's Enzo at the 10. Enzo doesn't want to be in the box. Enzo wants to be outside the box dictating the play.
Yeah.
So whenever Jackson drops deep, no one's there Whenever he beats a man, no one's there to take the ball. He can't pass it to them. So what I want to see is Palmer staying up high and using his ball striking ability for whenever Jackson does come deep, he overlaps and takes that spot. And I'm not saying Palmer's a fucking 10 or a second striker or anything like that. I'm just saying we need an attacking-minded player in that 10. Enzo is a more creative-minded player in the 10. But we need Enzo deeper to control the flow of the game. We have no midfield right now.
No, we don't. But I mean, I get where you're coming from, and I agree that Jackson does drop deep. But I also think that you're right. If we had someone to occupy that space, it might help. But I also think that we like to play out wide, and when we play out wide, we're just insensitively crossing, which is another point of my thing of we need someone more creative because we're just crossing the cross. And as you said, even when we're dominating, which let's be honest, for a lot of the games we played, we've dominated the ball. We're just persistent with the crossing, and it's not developing good goal scoring opportunities. On stats, yeah, we have a lot of chances, we have a lot of possession, but there's no clear cut chances. The one we had, the only one of note, was the Jackson miss against Nottingham, and let's be honest, it was a good pass from Palmer, and it was kind of a lucky situation. But we still miss it. Yeah, for Sterling, because he crossed the ball in. It was kind of mayhem in the box. He basically took the goalkeeper out by accident. And the net was open, and that was just. And I'm not faulting Jackson. He's stretching. Should he have finished? Probably, but I'm not going to be too critical.
But whenever you see players like Haaland misses a ton of shots. It's just Haaland gets 30 shots on goal.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why
Jackson gets one a game.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at him for it, and I don't agree with people saying it's the worst miss ever because I also think that we've seen worse howlers from more established strikers, or legends of the game. Not really. But yeah, I just think that
the only thing I can say with you saying it goes out wide is because whenever Jackson does come deep to take the ball, he can only spray it out wide. That's the issue.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the outlet to go central.
Right, but I also think we don't have anyone that would give him the option to go central because Enzo does do a couple passes through the center, but Enzo, his trademark is passing it out wide to the wings. He is very good about switching the play out to the wings. So we need someone that's a little bit more progressive and a little bit more straightforward, in my opinion. So
gotta hope that's Palmer.
Gotta hope. Well, time will only tell. We'll see what Poch does in the next game once the international break ends.
I think Palmer is. I know he's more predominantly on the right wing, but I feel like he can be used across the front line. And Daniel can confirm that or deny that. But he's gonna be more of a utility player for us, and allow for competition to Mudryk and Madueke. I mean, what?
Fair.
What?
It's not you.
Brandon, are you good?
Huh?
Are you good?
Yeah.
Is he sleeping?
He was sleeping.
You're not dozing off, are you?
A little bit, maybe.
Sleepy boy. Well, I think
I wasn't. I was not trying to question your analysis or anything, Abdon. I was just having a weird look because I'm seeing Brandon and he's.
No, because both you and Eddie were going like this. So
yeah, we both. Daniel and I both leaned up at the same time.
His room is so dark.
Did I say some
I really couldn't
No.
if he was actually asleep or if he was looking at something else. That's why I had to get in closer. And turns out he was a little gone. Not super gone, but a little bit.
He was fading. He was fading for sure.
For sure.
he was fading. He didn't like all the Chelsea ball talk.
I mean,
Relatable.
we could wake him up.
Oh, yeah?
And have him talk about Arsenal.
No, I think with the Palmer situation, I think that's a good introduction. Unless you had anything else you want to say about Chelsea, real quick.
I just want to go back to Poch needs to just go back to simple.
4-2-3-1.
Not even. It doesn't have to be 4-2-3-1. It has to be 4-2-3. Just play players in the correct positions.
Mm-hmm.
Stop shoehorning Chilwell up in the left wing for no damn reason.
Mm-hmm.
Just play players in the correct positions. If it's a winger, fuck it. Put a right winger and a left wing. It's still a winger.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not the perfect situation, but it's better than a left back at a fucking left wing.
Well, what if he doesn't see them as fit? What if he doesn't see them as up to par? and that's
No
why he's
player
playing
is
so
gonna
well up front.
get fit until they get a run of games. Mudryk is never going to get fit. Apparently, Mudryk, per sources inside the club, he's the best trainer in the fucking squad.
Well, you can
But
be the best trainer, but that doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. It doesn't mean anything for game time, but it's because of the nerves. He's scared. He
Right.
needs the run of games where he can be allowed to fuck up and not feel like he's gonna get dropped. I'm not saying just play him blindly just because we paid so much money for him. Just give him 4 or 5 games
Yeah, I agree with that.
No,
Though.
70 minutes, and if you have to drop him, drop him.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying that, like, especially right now, I feel like, well, I don't want to totally blame Poch, but I mean, it kind of goes to what we were talking about earlier in the group chat. Like, I feel like he's getting a lot of heat that he doesn't really deserve, and he's just having to work with the squad that he has right now, and it's not his squad. I mean, he's made a few transfers, but like, the majority of that squad is not his team.
You're
So-
right, but I do agree with Abdon 100% that while that's not your squad, you should be
Gotta
playing
make do.
players in the right
In
position
their correct
minimum.
position.
Look at Ange. Look at Ange. Ange, that's not his players.
Yeah,
Who the fuck who did they bring in? 3 players, Eddie?
Madison, the goalkeeper.
Madison, Vicario, Van de Ven, Solomon.
Okay, 4 players. How many did we bring in? Fucking 11 players? More?
Yeah.
Those are his players.
Yeah, but I
And-
also think that goes back to the point of you look at who Tottenham brought in versus who we brought in. We brought in a bunch of kids essentially, and Cuckoo
I mean,
was
the only established player they bought in was fucking Madison, which was a mistake that we didn't bring.
Well, I don't
Whoa,
know.
whoa,
I don't know
Vicario.
Van de Ven.
Vicario and Van de Ven were both starters for Wolfsburg and for who did they come from?
Empoli.
Italy.
Empoli.
No, but yeah, like it's they were both starters. They may have not been the high reputable players, but they were both starters. They're both entering. Well, not Van de Ven. He's really young, but Vicario's about to enter
He's
his
still really
prime.
good though.
I mean,
Yeah,
Van
I
de
agree.
Ven's only 22.
Acedo
Van de
starter,
Ven's only
Lavia
22.
starter, Ugochukwu starter, Madueke starter, fucking who else did we bring in?
Well, we didn't bring in
Nkuku starter.
Madueke last season, and Kuka was a starter, got injured. You're right. Malo Gusto was a starter, and that's fair. But you're also the difference is look like they brought in a winger, a midfield, a cam, a creative midfielder. They brought in a center back and a goalkeeper. We brought in two defensive midfielders, a cam that got injured, which that's not really a critique. I think Nkuku's a great buy. And then we brought.
Yeah.
I feel like the Palmer deal was a last minute kind of, it was kind of like we just got by someone type.
I
buy.
mean, it makes sense for Palmer because he just fills in the roles for every single position in the front line.
It does.
It's a quality buy.
It is a quality buy, but is it a smart buy? I'm not doubting Palmer's a good player. I'm just saying that that to me it just screams the issues that the Chelsea board have in the sense that there's no actual set plan. We're just buying people to buy people, and a lot of it just seems like we're buying players on potential, and that's fine for the future, but we need the now as well, And you're right, the transfer window's closed, but I'm talking about at the rate we're going, we'll be, unless things turn up, which I hope so, but at the time it's not, we'll probably be sitting around 9th by December. I'm going to be honest with you.
And I mean, that'll be fine. As long as we look like we're improving. I don't need to win every single game. Do I want to win every single game? Yes. But I want to stop starting 5 defenders at the start of the game, and then once we go down and the teams fucking close up shop, then we put in all the attackers.
Right.
What's the point?
Right.
What's the point? The fucking doors are closed.
You got to break
Like
the doors.
why put in Luton? Why put in fucking Madueke, Mudryk, Palmer, all these fucking attackers, and at the end of the game, at the 70th minute, once Luton has closed up shop, they've parked every fucking bus.
You mean Nottingham?
Nottingham, sorry.
No, I know what you meant. Yeah. No, I agree with you. And that those are criticisms of Poch that are valid. That's why, do I think that Poch still needs time? Of course. Do I think that he could help himself?
I'm not
Absolutely. Oh, I know you're not Poch out. I just meant answering Daniel earlier. Do we, I think we're both, me and Abdon in the sense that we like Poch. We think Poch should be given time. But also, there are some pretty bad errors that Poch is making.
Right.
You know what's
I'm
scary
just
as
saying
well?
that
You know what's
a lot of
scary?
those. Go ahead.
Fucking Poch said the results are bad, but I think the performances are good. That
don't
tells
think-
me he's not changing shit.
Yeah.
That
'Cause I-
scared me.
I don't
He
think
said
the
that shit
performances
after
are good.
Tottenham.
Yeah, I don't think the performances are good. But
Well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch the game, but statistically, you guys dominate the game.
it's like what I said. Yeah, we statistically have dominated every game we played, except Liverpool. But even then, we dominated on stats.
Right.
We're just not.
What's
We're
the
not.
saying? What's the saying? I'm gonna butcher the saying, so I don't even want to try.
No, try it. We'll correct you. Try it.
It's like if you torture numbers, it's like you can. It's something like
you can
torture numbers as long as you want, but they don't always tell the whole story or something like that.
Yeah, like you can bend them to tell whatever kind of story you want, but it's not the full picture, basically. No, I agree with you, Eddie. We went off tangent there. Did you want to say something earlier?
Yes. I was gonna say I'm not gonna banter Nicholas Jackson this week just because it's becoming too easy.
Oh, stop.
It's not even about bantering him. It's not. He didn't play bad. The issue is he's just not being given the opportunities to succeed. If Mance misses one chance, but that's his only chance on goal in 90 minutes, yes, it's not fair for him to get fucking bantered on. Because it's literally one fucking chance when he's doing everything else right in the game. He's doing all the other aspects of the game right. His team is not creating for him.
Yeah, they're not creating quality chances.
If fucking Kane got one chance on goal every fucking game, do you think he gets anywhere clear near his goal scoring tally? No. It's not fair.
Yeah.
The team
what was worse, Jackson's or Havertz?
Havertz was bad.
Havertz was
I didn't
bad.
see
He missed
Jackson.
the whole ball.
I think Havertz was worse.
But I also think that in Havertz's defense, I'm not saying it was. I'm not trying to take away about how bad of a whiff it was. It also came at him really quickly, and he just kind of threw a foot out. I mean, kind of something with Jackson. Jackson also stretched. You can.
What's funny is
compare both.
I think it was Eddie Nketiah was like right next to him and also had a really bad whiff like right after. And that kind of is getting overlooked because of Havertz.
Yeah, it's because it's Havertz.
Literally right after Havertz whiffed, Nketiah like stuck his leg out to try to touch it on goal and completely missed. And it was like just as bad. But no one cares because Havertz is Havertz.
Exactly. But I think this is a good way to go into Manchester City, Daniel. You guys played. They played Fulham.
We won.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because the offside.
Yeah.
Or not the offside, but the like impeding the goalie.
Yeah. Daniel, I have
what?
That was bad.
The what?
There was like a VAR where
Ake's goal.
One of your defenders
offside.
On Ake's goal where it should have been called offside or something because one of your defenders was impeding the goalie, like his sight.
Yes.
Wasn't that what happened?
Yeah, it should have been offsides, but they ruled against it.
Right.
Yeah, it should have been offsides. But, Daniel, let me ask you a question. For a large point of this, like during the transfer window, we were talking about how City weren't signing enough players. We ended up signing, Doku. You ended up signing, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I forgot you guys got him too, and from Wolves. My question for you, Daniel, is now that you've got these last minute signings in, does it change the expectations for you whatsoever, or do you still think that it's your guys' title to win?
I mean, we were always front runners for that title,
right?
Even way before the first game. So, I mean, we're projected to do. I mean, I'm not saying we are because I don't think we are, but we're projected to do another treble. Like we are expected to go on another treble run, which I don't think is possible. I think that's just demanding too much of the players, and they're gonna get tired. So I'm sure they're tired already right now. We're only 4 games in, so the expectations are still the same. Nothing's different. We're supposed to compete for the league. We're supposed to compete for the Carabao. We're supposed to compete for the FA. We're supposed to compete for the Champions League. It's all there. It's all for us to lose, and I don't think that's true. I don't think we're going to complete another treble.
I can't lie to you. With the amount of outs you guys had and ins come in and like the quality ins, yeah, there is a small part of me that does believe that City can win, can be the first team in Europe to win back
to go back to
treble.
back for trebles.
Yeah.
We're expected to. I just go off the fact that like these guys aren't fucking perfect and they're gonna get tired. And like they showed their resilience last season, especially in the second half when we really needed it. And like, do I think they can do it? For sure, they already did it once. They can do it again, but that's just asking too much of the players. And like, I think we'll win something this season. I don't know what that something is. It's way too early to be predicting what we can and can't win, but we're supposed to compete for every single thing, growing, that we're involved in right now. But I don't think we're gonna even get close to a treble. I think we might walk away with one, maybe two trophies, but I don't think we're gonna go for another treble run.
Oh no, I think it'd be insane if we had another treble run. I just think I
would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it, but it's just it comes to the fact that these guys are fucking human. Like they're gonna get tired, and then we have injuries. De Bruyne's out; he's out till December.
Yeah, but he's mid now.
I know he's not gonna be the only guy who gets injured.
Say he's mid now.
He's mid now.
He's definitely not mid.
He's got no hamstrings. He's mid. He's got no hamstrings.
He did kind of. It was a double-edged sword because last season he played with what'd you say?
I said, don't say that when James is injured every other fucking week. With a damn hammy.
Okay, if you want to talk about mid players.
Hey, relax.
No.
James ain't mid.
Do not say James is mid.
Well, when you're not reliable, and you're only reliable at home because.
Hey, the best.
Kevin De Bruyne then, right?
Availability.
So Kevin De Bruyne's, you're proving my point then, right? About Kevin De
Bruyne
Bruyne. He's mid then, yeah. You're proving my point.
He's definitely not.
Is he available?
Look at him last season.
Is he available? Was he available in the Champions League final?
Last season he was. He was one of our key players. He's one of the reasons why we won the treble.
Yeah. Oh, was he though? Because he wasn't in the Champions League final for long, was he?
Okay, but where was he the other 8, 9, 12 games?
I don't know. Every time I looked, he was injured or walking off the field because he was hurt.
It was one game. It was okay. To be fair, it was 2 games.
Oh,
one of them was because Rudiger fucked his shit up. Rudiger gave him the most unnecessary black eye.
He ran into it.
And you lost to Chelsea. I mean, hey, listen, he wasn't available. You lost. He was a big reason why you lost. Mid. I'm sorry.
I mean, it was
he
because Rodri
wasn't
didn't
available,
start.
and then we won the Champions League.
Yeah, then next
Rodri
time.
didn't start.
And then he took us there too.
Did he?
He did.
Did he?
He gave us our 2-1 win over Real Madrid in the Champions League final or semifinal. Dude, he fucking balled out in the second leg when we were at home. I don't remember what he did. I just know he fucking balled out.
When you guys beat them 5-0.
4-0.
Well, Daniel, let me ask you this: who? Be honest with me and yourself, and on the guys here. Who is more important to City's treble challenge? Kevin De Bruyne or Erling Haaland?
De
You're
Bruyne.
wrong on both.
No.
You're wrong on both.
Erling Haaland.
You're wrong on both. You're wrong on both.
Who?
Rodri.
Yeah,
The
he's
reason
right.
you didn't win against Chelsea because Rodri didn't fucking start.
That's true.
That's true. That is true. He
It
played.
was Rodri. Rodri's your most
But you
important
couldn't.
player.
But
I
he
don't
couldn't
wanna
score
hear it.
either.
But
they
that
couldn't
season,
score.
out of the 63 games we played, 62 of them Rodri started, and then the one game he didn't start was in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
And then
Rodri's your
he
most important
also
player. I don't
he
want
also
to hear it.
sat out an in-form Phil Foden and switched an out-of-form Raheem Sterling.
Phil Foden was never going to score in Chelsea.
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
He
Daniel,
got a better chance than Raheem Sterling. I'll tell you that.
But banter aside,
No.
I mean,
Well,
I don't know how Rodri's scoring any goals, but besides that, I think Erling Haaland was more important. He gave you those goals you guys were missing, in my opinion.
For sure, no, for sure. But we also he also just scores. I don't want to be too critical because I do love him, but he doesn't really show up on big games. He does every now and again, but he's not consistent in big games.
Ooh.
He'll show up every now and again in a big game. He didn't do well in the Champions League final. Erling Haaland.
Oh, yeah. No, Holland's washed.
He's washed. But he just doesn't show up in I'm not saying he never shows up in a big game, but he's either here or he isn't. He still hasn't done anything against Liverpool. He hasn't shown up in a few of the Champions League run games that we've had. The ones that he did show up, like he balls out, like the 7-0 win against RB Leipzig where he scored 5 of the goals. Like he's here and there for some of the games, but I'm saying that he's not delivering in every single game, which is fine. I'm not saying he has to be perfect because he's not, but the games that we need him in, the games that we would preferred him to have goals in, he just doesn't show up. And the games that we're expected to win, like RB Leipzig, he demolishes teams. So I just think that, and plus De Bruyne he's always been such a crucial player, but the last few seasons, especially the last 2 seasons, he gets injured at the worst possible time possible. So,
I mean, the only reason why I don't think you win the Champions League this year is because you guys are just getting older.
We're just gonna get tired. Like we're gonna get tired. Like I just think it's because it's gonna come down to injuries, and then our players just being fucking tired. Like
I'm gonna take that back.
They're expected to win every single thing, and I would love if they go for another treble, but I just don't think it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna take that back. You know why?
Why?
I think you win the league a lot faster than you've done any of these other years, and I think you save everyone until the fucking Champions League. To be honest, I think there's one team that that stands a chance to take City out of the Champions League. Madrid.
Bayern.
With that fucking midfield.
Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich.
Now with Kane.
Bayern Munich are really weak this season.
Not Bayern Munich.
They don't got a goalkeeper.
Weak.
They play.
They
They don't have a
midfield.
goalkeeper.
They don't have a
They
midfield.
only
They don't have
have
a staff.
5 midfielders. They only have 5 midfielders.
They only need 3.
If it's gonna be anyone, it's gonna be Real Madrid with that
No, it's
stacked
not.
ass midfield.
They got Jude Bellingham
It's
in
not-
there.
Not with how injured they are.
One player can only take them so far.
Apparently,
one player.
Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri take a lot of teams really far.
It's not just Bellingham, bro. It's Bellingham and Camavinga. Is
Valverde,
Tchouaméni. It's
Vinicius,
Valverde. It's fucking
Vinicius.
what's his name? The fucking winger.
Vinicius.
Rodrigo and
Vinicius.
Vinicius.
Vinicius is injured.
Only question mark is the defense. And goalkeeper.
Yeah, because Militão's he's out for the season.
No, they got Kepa there. They're gonna win it.
And Militao are out for the season. And Courtois.
So
They're gonna win it.
we're
Yeah,
expected
they're
to
not-
go
they're
for
not winning
another
the Champions
treble
Fucking-
run. We're
Fucking
expected
Holland.
to win the
Holland's gonna be
Champions League.
popping long shots against Kepa.
I still think City will win it again. I don't know what else they're gonna win, but I do think they're gonna win the Champions League.
We're expected to
They're
win
gonna
every
crash out of the
single thing
cups.
in our competition.
They
I can
might
see
crash
that-
out. I could see them crashing out of the cups and like winning the league and UCL again.
I think they do the double.
I could see them
I
winning
agree.
a treble again. Maybe a quadruple.
We're
Just
expected to
because-
win a quadruple.
Yeah,
I could say
just 'cause-
quadruple.
Just because, like, most teams get tired. Like, when Liverpool got tired and their players started to get injured, it's because Klopp demanded them to not that City doesn't have the same intensity, but it was high pressure. City likes to keep possession, and when your team keeps possession, you don't get tired very quickly.
They also didn't have the depth. At least they didn't have good enough depth to keep them afloat.
That's very true. They don't have the same depth as City, so I can very, very easily see City doing it again.
I would love it.
It's actually really frustrating, but
I think the part of the season that's going to win City the league is because they're not going to have any players that leave unless I'm forgetting someone.
You cut out
we're
out
talking about African Cup of Nations.
AFCON is going to be the
AFCON,
time
okay.
when
You
City
cut
wins the
out-
league.
Like I think the turning point of City's season is. I was like, wait, what?
They don't. They don't have
Because
any African players.
They don't, unless I'm
We
not
don't
thinking
anymore.
of someone
You know,
like
Racism.
every other top team is going to be missing, or like every team that so far is expected to be at the top is going to be missing players except for City.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah,
that's
the
when I think AFCON is going to be when they run away with the league. I know I said Christmas when we were texting, but then I thought about it and I was like, it's probably going to be AFCON.
that's the harshest.
Dude, that could be a
time of the
blessing in
season.
disguise for United.
Who does Arsenal have that's in AFCON?
Party.
Artie, that's it.
Not worried about losing him to AFCON.
He's already injured. He's already injured.
You already lost him.
So and we
So
we
yeah,
did better
that'll be an
without him.
important time for Arsenal too. Then I
Yeah.
guess if they only have Party going.
No,
I just don't trust Arsenal's team.
yeah.
I would love if we go for another treble. I just don't think it's. I don't think
I'm
it's.
sure you would love that.
I would.
I'll leave you with this, Daniel. I'll leave you with
Nobody would.
this.
Any fan.
Abdon, I hope. You know what? I hope Todd Bowley balls out and spends another $2 billion, so you guys can get another 6 wins next year.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Over under 500 million spent in January.
Under.
No.
Under. He's not going to go that crazy.
Under.
I know it was a joke.
We don't have the outs. to do that.
Sorry, bro. I know you're in the crossfire because you're a Chelsea fan too, but I gotta
I think
let
we're
the
gonna
ultimate know
take Ivan
where
Tony.
he's at.
To be honest,
Second best midfield, right? Second best midfield.
You already
Who
are.
have
You
not
already
played?
giving up on
Who
Jackson.
Jackson.
have
midfield.
not played? No, because
Then why are you
that's
saying they're the
bland.
second best fucking midfield when they haven't even touched the fucking field together?
On fucking paper.
Oh my god, get the fuck out of here.
Daniel,
I could write down a better midfield on paper.
Okay,
What the hell does that matter?
Put it down. Put it down.
Manchester
If
City's
you tell me
entire
fucking
midfield.
Spurs right now, I swear to God.
I don't have any paper near me, so I can't.
Manchester
No, like
City-
I'm saying, I could pick 3 players
Okay,
and
pick
say,
it.
yeah, well, on paper,
it.
this is a better midfield.
Okay, we're not talking about hypotheticals. We're talking about fucking people on a team.
Okay,
Real Madrid's
Madrid
midfield.
obviously better. City's
They're the
midfield
best
is
midfield.
obvious. City's midfield is obviously better. Barcelona's
Kovacic and Rodri.
okay. Let's assume everyone's healthy.
Who is their midfield?
City's
Yeah, like actual question, because fucking City's formation.
when everyone's
just-
healthy, is it not De Bruyne, Rodri, and Kovacic?
It would have been Gundogan,
Is
but
it?
yeah, since it's Kovacic. Yeah.
Huh?
No, that would be our midfield.
That's better than Chelsea's midfield for sure.
Bro, you took our best midfielder.
Brandon doesn't agree.
He
I
definitely
know.
was your best midfield last season.
I don't agree with the Kovacic just kind of ruins it for me.
Yeah, but De Bruyne
He's the-
and
he was- he's
Rodri
the-
are
he's
so
the
much
closest
better than anyone
player.
on Chelsea's midfield.
They
Who's
could
the
just do
closest-
Rodri and De Bruyne, and that's it. And
Yeah,
they-
yeah,
Kovacic.
that's all they need.
Yeah, we cleared Caicedo and whoever the fuck you fucking signed
Enzo?
for $10 billion.
Enzo has the most progressive passes in the fucking league by
4
over
games!
a double
It's
amount.
4 fucking
By
games!
over who the fuck cares?
Me and everybody else.
I mean, it is all we have to go
4
off is
fucking
4
games.
games.
You're also
Like-
shitting on Sanchez for having the worst goalkeeping stats, and it's only been 4 games, bro.
Yeah, but Sanchez hasn't looked
That
convincing.
means it's only gonna get worse. We
Then
haven't
don't get rid
played.
of-
We
don't get
haven't
rid-
played
don't
the
get rid of
worst
Pepe.
teams on our schedule yet. October,
get-
November, he's
don't
going
get rid
to
of
get.
Pepe.
He might have
Don't get-
10% save percentage.
Don't get rid of Kepa.
10%.
9 out of 10 goals go in.
But I'm
We
sorry.
have to
I
get rid of
like
Kepa.
Pepe.
Kepa was on 400,000 a week. That's not retention. That's 250,000. But still,
When does Arsenal play Chelsea?
October, November, sometime around there.
It's
I'm
like
looking
in
up
the
right now.
Roughest period. It's like in the roughest
Yeah,
period.
Chelsea has a stretch that's like
It's gonna be a make or
It's
break.
death.
Like
It's
that.
death.
pain.
Yeah, we
It's
play.
death.
At that
It is
point,
death.
it is make or break for
Yeah,
Chelsea.
Chelsea play
That
Arsenal.
season-
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like that point of the season, from like early October, from all the way to like I think it's late November, like that.
It's late
period of
October. It's
time-
early November.
Oh, okay. Like that
No.
period of time is such a make or break for Chelsea.
No,
Well-
until December 6th.
Well,
Hey,
here,
watch.
is
United,
this-
United is gonna fucking come back into form against us for no fucking reason. They're gonna play like prime fucking Barcelona for no damn reason.
I don't know.
Right,
We
listen-
can get to that later.
look,
I don't know.
Chelsea.
It's
Chelsea are going to play Bournemouth when we come back away. Then we got Aston Villa and Brighton, Fulham, Burnley, and then it goes Arsenal, Brentford, Tottenham, Manchester City, Newcastle, Brighton again,
Jeez.
Manchester United.
Oh, that is
Bro.
so tough.
So, but
There's a silver lining with United, possibly.
Yeah, that's a win in there.
Well,
There's
No,
a
I'm
one
telling you,
win.
they're gonna play like fucking prime Barcelona for no damn reason.
well, let's
We
talk
can get
about
to that later.
let's talk about United then right now. The Arsenal.
Wait. Hold on. You said before we went on this little Chelsea rabbit hole, you said you were going to leave me off of something.
Oh, with City.
Yeah.
Oh, the only thing I was gonna say is, if the reason I think City could win a treble and quadruple, this is weighing out now, but this is the one time I think I've seen this from a Pep Guardiola team. They have shown that while teams can still, push an issue, they can still play. Like City aren't this immovable fortress. They can concede chances to opposition. I just think City can grind out, results now. I think that even when City aren't playing the best they can grind out results. Not something that other Pep Guardiola teams could have done in the past. Most Pep Guardiola teams have been the very dominant, force, have had world-class players to get a goal here and there. But this team just seems like they can just be resilient and dig it out, And the first time I saw it was against Inter. Because while they dominated the game against Inter, I don't think they played necessarily well, but I think they just grinded themselves to a victory.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I think they can win the treble.
Well, it's like we said last week with the Sheffield game. Like that's a game that champions know how to win.
Yeah. So and they just this is a characteristic I haven't noticed before from City.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I feel like it developed last season because with winning the treble, like that takes a lot out of every single player on and off the pitch, even players off the bench. Like they all have roles to play, and like it was a tough. Everything was stacked against us. Like even like early March when Arsenal were still expected to win the league. Like we all needed to those were the games that we it didn't really matter if we won convincingly or if it was an ugly win. We just needed to get our foot over the line, and we really did that last season. Obviously, there were some games in that period of time where we did dominate and we won games convincingly, but there were other games where we really just needed to just get our foot over the line, and we did. So
yeah. We keep bringing up Arsenal, we keep bringing up Manchester United, so I think it's a good place to go to next. With Arsenal versus Manchester United, 3-1.
Yeah.
Brandon, before I ask anything, did you watch the game?
No,
He
I
was at
didn't watch the game.
church.
Okay, can you watch one game?
Eventually, maybe.
It's like,
wait, have you really not watched the game?
Huh?
Have you really not watched a single Arsenal game?
Not all the way through.
At least he's watching something. Well, in my opinion, Arsenal versus Manchester United was a game where,
dude,
neither team.
From what I saw, because I watched the extended highlights. From what I saw, Arsenal was absolutely dominating.
Yeah, but in my opinion, it was a game that Arsenal shouldn't lose. It was also a game that neither team really should have won, in my opinion.
Oh,
I was about to say it was a very.
I don't know
a
about
game
that.
without much going for it until the last 30 minutes.
Arsenal
United
should have never
capitulated.
been in like the Garnacho goal, whether it was offsides or not. Like they should have never been in that position. The game should have been over with a long time ago.
Yeah, but
Havertz knew how to kick a ball.
yeah.
But the issue is that Havertz shot, that was really the only opportunity Arsenal had for a large stretch of the game, other than that one goal from Odegaard.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the Odegaard and the Havertz,
that-
that was the only thing that happened until the
second half.
70th minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, until like the 70th minute around there.
That goal just comes from United not being back to where they should be mentally and focusing on the game.
Yeah.
It happened so quick. Like I saw that it was 1-0, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. And then I saw it was 1-1. I was like, dude, what the fuck?
I didn't even have a chance to like process that United had scored, and then
Same.
Arsenal had already
Great goal.
equalized. So I was like, "Oh shit, what?"
It was a great goal from Rashford too.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
what,
It was a
20,
good
it was
goal
like
from
what was
Rashford.
it
It
like
was.
27 seconds apart or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was like straight off kickoff.
Well, it was straight off kickoff, but their celebration took a little while.
From
So-
like game
So
time
close to
though.
a minute.
It was actually like a minute and a half apart.
Yeah. But actual game time was probably like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well then let me
Rice's goal was lucky.
yeah.
It was.
I agree with that.
Onana has to keep that out. I don't care about the deflection. He has to keep that out.
Yeah.
At the near post. At the near post, he has to.
And then obviously the last goal was just icing on the cake.
Jesus.
That was
Yeah.
that was so good from him though.
Who did he drop? What defender did he drop?
I think it was Dallo.
Yeah, it was Dallo.
That was,
No,
that was
no,
good.
Dallo
but he-
got. Oh no, it was Dallo.
It was
Never
Dallo.
mind.
It was
But
Dallo.
I mean, to be fair to Dallo, like he had to commit
Yeah, he did.
to it. But Jesus knew that he was going to do that, and so he just. It was so good though.
Really good counterattacking. Yeah.
Well, Brandon, let me ask
And
you
then-
this then. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, the Havertz dive thing. Did he get a yellow?
No, I don't
Okay.
think he did.
Okay. Because I saw it and I was like, if this was like back in the, well, obviously before VAR, and we'd seen it, like he did get touched, but I don't think it was enough for him to go down.
It looked to me like he was the one that kind of not initiated the contact, but like just the way he runs, like his leg kind of like went back a little bit too far and it bumped into Wan-Bissaka's leg, and like Wan-Bissaka was trying to move his body out of the way, and like fair play to Havertz to fall, because he had me convinced at first, and then I saw the highlights and I was like, oh, that's a cheeky little dive.
I don't think he was dangling his leg.
I think he was bracing for impact.
I don't think it was that either. I think it was just like, when you lift your leg up to run, that foot stays up for a second.
Yeah.
And I think Wan-Bissaka caught him, but you could tell from how he was falling that it wasn't enough to knock him down, because it took a second for him to initiate him falling down.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been
So
extreme.
I think it's a good call from the ref to say it wasn't a penalty, but also a good call to not give him a yellow. Could have gone either way.
Right.
And then, dude, that offsides, holy shit.
Should never be
Very lucky.
offsides.
Very lucky.
Should never be offside.
Gabriel, I'm so glad he checked his run, because if he hadn't stopped, that would have been that. I think we would have lost.
Did you see that highlight?
Yeah.
Huh?
Did you see that highlight where as soon as he saw Garnacho, he actually like
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
backwards?
Yeah, I'm saying, he stopped. Yeah, he checked his
Yeah.
run.
Okay.
Yeah. I still think that's
good.
onside.
Dude, okay, speaking of that, like the back line is perfect right now for me. Like with Zinchenko, Gabriel and Saliba, and Ben White out on the right. I think that's. I don't know why he had Partey as a fullback, but I digress because we won.
I had the same questions about Poch.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Well, Brandon, let me ask you a question now. I know this is one win, but I don't think Arsenal have started the best this season.
No,
Do you guys have your expectations changed at all, or the expectations around the team that you've seen on social media or anything, have they really changed? Because me personally, you guys aren't challenging for the title again this season.
I never thought we were. So I still think we'll get top 4. Not much else.
See, I think there's a chance you may not even get top 4.
I don't know about that.
That's harsh.
Everyone else is too weak for him to not get top 4.
Yeah, but the issue is also, it's kind of like what I said.
Like,
This isn't the
who's gonna
first.
keep us out of top 4.
Well, give me a second. Hold on.
Not going to be Chelsea.
No, I'm not saying it's
It's
going
not
to
going
be
to be
Chelsea.
United.
No, relax.
It's not going to be Newcastle.
It'll be West Ham. It'll be Manchester United if they pick up, but they're not
Spurs-
going to pick up.
Spurs-
Liverpool will be there. Spurs will be there. That's 4
will
teams
be
that already.
there.
Yeah, no, I don't think
First
you
of all,
will.
it's top
West
5.
Ham's not going to
It's
be in
top
top
5.
4.
Top 5. So I think that Brighton will be there. I think that West Ham will be there. I think that
No, they won't.
Yeah, I think they will. I think
West Ham
Tottenham will
won't.
be there.
Neither will
My issue though with the reason I say I don't think Arsenal potentially could not finish, in the top 4 is because what I saw yesterday against Manchester United is what I've seen against Fulham. It's what I've seen against every team you guys have played. You guys have dominated on the ball statistically, but you guys aren't creating enough good opportunities like you were last season. And I think teams.
Okay. But even though that's happening, are we still winning?
How many games have you won this season?
We've won. What we played? 4 games. We've won
Yeah.
3.
You've won 2, right?
Drawn 1.
I think they won 3.
Have they won 3?
Won 3. Drawn 1.
I was gonna say I don't
it's
think
not better
they
than I
lost.
thought.
Yeah.
I thought they drew 2. I forgot that you guys didn't draw against Crystal Palace, but I don't know.
Pretty
Nottingham.
sure,
Nottingham.
fifth to second. Oh, go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
I was gonna say because Nottingham were the best I've seen Arsenal play all season. Crystal Palace, he got a red card. They can't really judge too much. Fulham and Manchester United, I just see signs where Arsenal could drop a lot of points like they did last season in drawing games. I don't think they've improved in that aspect.
We could, but we're not yet.
Yeah, but I see it happening. I honestly do. I'm not trying to rile you up or anything. I'm just telling you.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I feel like we're getting wins late in the game.
But are you playing well?
It doesn't matter if we're not playing well right now. We're gonna have a time. It just happens to be at the beginning of the season where we're not playing well, but we're still getting wins.
Mm-hmm.
City didn't play well against Newcastle. Does that mean they didn't win?
No. They against Newcastle. I think they played. I think that neither of those teams played well.
I think we played better than Newcastle. It's just that Newcastle, for whatever reason, were extremely passive and just sat back the entire game and just led us into their entire half and we had our way. I mean, it was only 1 goal, but they were extremely passive that entire game.
They were scared for sure. But it's like I said, you're not gonna be perfect all the time.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm sure the more we play, the chemistry will be better. I don't know why it's not there right now. I think it's because Arteta's doing a lot of shifting with the team, and he has Havertz in there, which just throws a wrench in everything.
I was to say that's the reason why you don't have chemistry right now. It's fucking Havertz.
Dude, I looked at the lineup and I'm like, this is the best lineup I've seen except for Havertz is in the midfield. Play Vieira, please.
I agree with that.
Vieira.
Vieira's in good form this season.
I think it should have been Partey. I know he's injured. I think it should have been Partey, Rice, and Odegaard in the midfield.
Ideally, if Partey wasn't injured, I agree with that. But since Partey's injured, play Vieira instead of Havertz. Ridiculous.
That price tag. I'm pretty sure the war is pushing him to play.
Play Smith Rowe instead of Havertz.
Rescue that man, dude. Literally rescue that man. Any team would be lucky to have him.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't Chelsea linked with him?
Probably.
I mean, it was just some.
They probably were with the
I don't
amount
think
of
we were
players they
actually
bought.
linked with them.
If we were, that's just another player that I don't think we actually had a plan for. I think we're just buying.
We should charge 50 mil for him.
Jose, we have a plan for them, my guy.
I don't think we do, dude. But
we didn't have a plan the first transfer window. We have a plan ever since. Yes, they're younger, but just whatever.
I don't think we do. That's just me personally. Okay. But
we're done with Chelsea.
We are done with Chelsea. But
keep going a little bit.
Nah.
I
don't care. No, I don't care. I mean, we disagree on that. That's perfectly fine. But also looking at another team, like I said, as much as I'm criticizing Arsenal, that the same goes for Manchester United. Obviously, Manchester United have been way worse than Arsenal. Have been way worse than anyone predicted, and with the whole Ten Hag versus Sancho and the Greenwood drama. And the way he's handling things, the way he called out players in the press conference. Do you guys think that Ten Hag's gonna be the first manager sacked this season?
Yeah, well, he's actually not.
Top 6 or what?
No,
not in
in
the top 6 because
in
someone
general?
just got sacked from La Liga.
yeah, in general, you know,
Well,
I
I
mean,
think-
let me rephrase the question: is he going to be the first high-profile sacking in Europe?
Oh.
If
No.
things keep going the way they do, then yes.
No, I think other teams will do it just because
Poch
United
goes for
don't have them.
Dude, you need to relax.
That's an envious. That's someone that's envious. He's envious.
United don't have the money
I'm
to
just
fire
trying to
Ten
be
Hag.
funny. I don't care. But I mean, based off Chelsea's, manager stuff before, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, to be honest, it was Potter, so we had to fire him. We had to. Whatever. No, United doesn't have the money to fire Ten Hag.
Mhm. Well,
So unless they're literally about to be relegated, I don't think he's going to be fired.
maybe
That's
they
the first
will.
one.
Maybe they will. The
They will
Glazers.
fire
The
him.
Glazers took them off the market. What's up, Eddie?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But
Riddle me this. This team has underperformed,
Mm-hmm.
and I know they've had a tough schedule, and I know it's early. But how long, what temperature is Eddie Howe's seat right now?
Oh, he's still cool.
That's
It's still
pretty-
cool.
that's a good one.
Because
No,
they
just-
have a
who they
lot of
just
money.
lose to?
They can get a bigger name, not necessarily better, but you know what I mean. Like they can bring in a higher profile manager than Eddie Howe if they wanted to. And if these results like fumbling against 10-man Liverpool keep happening, like I could see his seat warming up as the season goes on. I'm not saying he's gonna get sacked this year. I'm just saying like I agree. I think his job is still safe right now, but if these results start to keep going, I wouldn't be surprised if he lost his job by the end of the season.
I
They've
think
only
go ahead.
won one game this season, and they've lost 3.
They haven't
Okay.
tied at all.
Here's
Yeah.
my point, though. This is the point I'm gonna make. Yes, he's only won one game. It was against Aston Villa. The other 3 teams were Brighton, City, and Liverpool.
But
Mhm.
Brighton just smashed.
I know. I said they had a tough schedule. So
Right,
And they're going to
Not
keep having
saying-
a tough schedule.
right. And
Have you looked at their-
and
have you
if
looked
you
at
want
their
to be if you want to be at the top of the league, those are the teams you have to beat.
Have you
Right,
seen their fixture
right.
list?
You said what?
No, I haven't seen their
It's the
fixture
same as
list.
everybody else's.
Next is Brentford, Milan, Sheffield,
Ooh.
City in the
Yeah,
cup,
now with Champions
Burnley.
League. Yeah.
PSG, West Ham. I don't see easy wins there, other than Sheffield, and I don't even know if Burnley's an easy win.
Yeah,
for them.
if you want to be in the Champions League and if you want to contend, you have to beat Brighton. You
Yeah,
have
but
to beat 10-man Liverpool.
but I also don't think they're trying to contend. I think we're painting a picture that they need to be contending for a title. Like
Yeah.
they're not. Look,
They
realistically,
wouldn't buy Sandro
Yeah.
Tonali if they weren't trying to contend.
realistically, Sandro Tonali's one player. That doesn't add a whole lot of depth when you look at the grand scheme. It's not like what
Lot
they
of
did.
money.
They spent a lot of money.
They spend a lot
Dog.
of money. They
Dog.
clearly think he can help them win.
Okay, first of all, they bolstered them, right? That's great. He bolstered them. That's great. Money, lots of teams spent money. Manchester United spent money. They're not challenging for anything. What I'm saying is, they are. I'm with Daniel. They're ahead on their projects, right?
Don't do it, you fuck.
What's up?
I just saw Brandon start smiling. I was like, no,
No,
no.
but they're ahead of their project. Like they no one expected them to be challenging for Champions Leagues last season like they did. All right, that's great. The team's underperforming right now. They can't disagree with you there. I just think that when you look at that group that they got pulled in the Champions League, no one's expecting them to make it out of that group. No one's expecting to make it out. So they're not really competing in the Champions League.
But they're
Can they-
expecting them to win at least one game or tie at least one. I don't see them tying or winning one game.
I don't think they're going to win any of those games, to be honest with you. I think the easiest team in that
Dortmund's not very good.
I
I can see them winning
I don't
both
see
Dortmund
Newcastle right now beating Dortmund.
I don't see. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see them being Milan. That's the only team. Milan's the only team I can see them taking a point.
Bro, Milan is sneaky
Milan's
good.
good. What do you mean?
Milan
Nah.
is sneaky good.
Milan is so much better than
Milan
Dortmund.
might finish first in that group.
I think Milan
No,
will get out of that group.
no.
Milan
Yeah.
is stacked.
I don't know. I just think
Milan
Milan.
and PSG get out of that group with ease.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
Yeah,
I also think.
Newcastle gets third personally.
No, I don't think. I think. I think
Newcastle
Dortmund.
gets third,
I think they're
Dortmund comes
fourth.
last.
No, they're game 4.
Dortmund comes last.
No, they're not gonna get last.
Yes,
But-
they are.
But that's my thing. Is like if we are expecting them to finish not in a Champions League, not in the in a position they can finish, or they can go into the the last 16. And everyone already kind of assumed the same thing they said about Arsenal, the same thing they said about Manchester United last season. At the beginning of this season, where all the other teams were shit. Now everyone's getting better. And no one's expecting them to finish in the top in Champions League spots this season. How can it be so critical of Eddie Howe? Is my question.
Because I think, like we had this conversation with Arsenal last season, expectations change as performances go on.
Right.
So yes, they're ahead of schedule, but now that they have this Saudi money, and now that they brought in players like Tonali who are supposed to help you win now, your expectations are allowed to change. And now the expectation around Newcastle is to compete for the top 4 every season.
I don't think it is, though.
And it is.
It's
you
not,
might
though.
not. It might not be in your opinion, but it is.
Not even the media's
Europe,
opinion. Not even in the media's opinion is it top 4. In the media's opinion, the top 4.
Everyone, every pundit, everyone that I saw had them finishing no lower than 5th. Everyone.
5th, okay, maybe, but I don't think
everyone sees them as a Champions League team from now on.
Yes.
I disagree. I don't know.
Whether they compete in the Champions League is one thing, but everyone sees them competing to at least make it to top 5.
And maybe if they get knocked out early, it'll be better.
And the reason I'm
think they will
saying that maybe I'm not even saying I think he's going to get sacked or I think he should be sacked. It's just like we've seen these teams with all this money, like they're spending money. If he's not getting results on the field, I could just see his job becoming a little less safe.
Right.
It doesn't get better for him. Holy fuck.
And it doesn't get better. And yeah, like you've got to beat these teams if you want to compete. Like, yeah, it sucks that your schedule is tough, but everyone plays the same teams.
That's
October for them.
Obviously not in the Champions League, but you know in the Prem, you know what I'm saying.
But I also think that like out of all their games in the next stretch of 10 games, let's say, I see 4 winnable games.
Which ones?
I see
they 10? Let me look.
I see they could beat. They could. I'm not saying that they will in their current form. I'm saying these are teams they could beat. They could also get beat. They could beat Brentford. They should beat Sheffield United.
Absolutely.
They should beat Burnley.
Yeah.
And they should beat Crystal Palace.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's it in the next stretch of games.
How much money they spent, that's not good.
But how much money did they realistically spend?
A lot.
I'm asking how much. I mean, I know Sandro Tonali.
I don't know the money off the
We're
top of
talking
my
about
head, but a lot.
Nets, or are we talking about just
I'm not talking about Nespin. Who'd they bring in? Sandro
This
Tonali,
window-
and they
this
brought
window, They brought in. Okay, well that's like a.
who?
They
Tell
brought
me
in
besides
all
Sandro
They brought in
Tonali.
Sandro. They brought in Harvey Barnes. They brought in Livramento, and they brought in Lewis Hall.
So they brought really 2 players that could actually bolster the squad. And now all of a sudden they have to be title or not title challengers, but they have to be competing for Europe. And like I know they spent a lot of money. A lot of the money is Sandro Tonali. I don't think will he get sacked? You're probably right. He probably will get sacked. But I also think that if you look at that schedule, that's a really harsh way to sack a coach. Especially when you're in the development
I'd rather them
phase.
not fire him.
Yeah.
I'd rather them not sack him because I'm scared of who they're going to fucking bring in.
I think even with the problems with... I still think even...
one guy available, a huge name of still available.
Conte.
I was thinking of Nagelsmann.
Nagelsmann?
Yeah,
Nagelsmann, maybe Enrique. No, is Enrique still at PSG? Or they fired
Yeah,
him?
he just got appointed.
Yeah, he just got
But
appointed.
there was talks he might have left.
He just got appointed this season, didn't he? Or was he there last season?
I think because of the Mbappe shit, he was going to leave at some point. I don't know if he did or not.
Oh, no, he's still there. Oh no, I just think that for a team that's still in the development stage, whether or not we as media or fans or whatever expect them to be in a certain position, I just think that board has shown with them not being able to spend as much money as they would like to have hoped, like City could when they first got the money. I just think that they'll give him some leeway, and I think that even if they get grouped, which I think we all know they're going to get grouped in the Champions League, if they get grouped, I think as long as the results pick up in the league, I think that'll be his saving grace. And I think
Yeah.
it will. I think they will, but I also think that out of the next 5 league games or 6 league games, they've got 3 winnable games. I think that's just. I think it's harsh.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like
And
they're going to be in a relegation fight or even mid-table. I still think they'll work their way up towards the top, but any kind of title charge, honestly, any kind of top 4 charge, I think we might be. It might be getting to crunch time. Like I know
This
it's
guy's-
still early, but we're seeing that teams like Spurs and West Ham and Brighton that are overperforming that don't look to be dropping off anytime soon that are going to get in their way.
right, but I also think. I mean, if we're gonna have that, that's why I think that. I think Ten Hag is gonna be the one that gets sacked first.
You might be right.
Because Ten Hag is. They're winning games, but they're playing bad.
And his shit about Sancho and all that was
Yeah.
fucking bullshit.
The way he's
You can't
disrupted
do
that
as a
dressing room,
manager. You cannot do that as a manager. You just simply cannot.
and the way he slammed the entire team afterwards, it's just it reeks of Conte at
It does.
Tottenham.
It does.
So I mean, I would honestly, after everything, I wouldn't be shocked if he wasn't here after the international break. I don't think it'll be
Ten
that
Hag
extreme.
thinks he's bigger than the club. That's
Ten
what
Hag-
it told.
Yeah, and Ten Hag isn't anyone. You know, I could understand when Conte did it at Tottenham, as much as he probably shouldn't have. Conte's a serial winner. So I mean that's fine. He's competed in the best leagues. The only thing that's escaped him is the Champions League. Ten Hag
He has
hasn't
no
done
right.
shit.
Yeah, no right to do anything like that.
He made a Champions League semifinal. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say to him. I think Ten Hag.
Who, Ten Hag?
Yeah, I think that he
I
really
think-
thinks
yeah.
he's better than he is.
I could see it.
I mean, his talent ID is ass. His talent ID is, let me get some Ajax players in because they worked for me before.
He
Mhm.
doesn't
Literally,
even
that's
have,
literally his talent ID.
He doesn't even have a clear vision of how he even wants to play with this team.
He does. It's just a bad idea.
He doesn't. He switches on and off.
Well, he wants to be the best.
several times.
He wants to be the
He'll
best
go from a low
transitional
block
team.
to a counterattacking to a possession, and nothing fucking works. He
Well,
has
that's-
no clear vision of where he wants to go or where he wants to take this team. And part of that is his fault. Another part of it isn't because the Glazers also. I don't know if it's the Glazers or not, but just the Federation in general at United, they don't have a good scouting. He's even said it like flat out, like they don't scout for players. So he had to go and revert back to players that he can actually trust, which is a Brazilian fidget spinner who just doesn't do anything on
Right.
the fucking field. He really doesn't. He's not a good player.
But he's about to go to prison FC, so it's fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say. You know what? You know, this is something I wanted to ask you guys. Is it weird that a lot of the recent allegations and charges, or the news that's been brought to the surface for sexual abuse or misconduct or stuff like that, a lot of them have been not City, but United players?
It's
We
just a
had-
Manchester thing. It's a Manchester thing.
It's got to be a Manchester thing because like Mendy,
Man.
and then you have Antony now. You have Mason Greenwood. You had what was his name? The Welsh guy that
Ryan
was a
Giggs.
legend,
Ryan
Ryan
Giggs.
Giggs.
Oh, Ryan Giggs.
It's Cristiano Ronaldo had the allegations a couple years ago before he went right after he left for Madrid. Like it's weird. It's a weird coincidence.
also-
Hold on. What did Abdon say that one time? Was it you, Abdon? Like once is a coincidence, 7 or 8 it's a pattern or some shit like that.
I never said that, but okay, I'll take it. I'll take
I swear he said it. I'll have to find the clip because you definitely said something about that.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was. But basically, we're seeing a pattern. It's weird. Eddie, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it also just comes like it's not. These players are in the limelight at such a young age. They are propped up to a high standard at such a young age that they never fully learn how to have relationships with people that are normal and how to like live normal lives. And I do not want this to come off like I'm excusing these people.
No.
I'm just saying that, like, this is literally happening with the Dodgers right now. One of their pitchers just got arrested for his second domestic abuse charge. So I'm knee deep in this type of stuff right now, too. And it's like, you're playing for the biggest organization, biggest club, maybe in the world. with Manchester United. On top of all that, you've already been in the limelight and been propped up since you were 14, 15, 16. You have to have the right people in your corner. And it really sucks because it just doesn't feel like any of these guys have the right people in their corner. Like they just don't have relationships with good people that know when to be like, hey, you can't do, like, every athlete, everyone who's famous, everyone in general needs to have someone in their corner that will look them in the eye and be straight with them and be like, you can't do this. You need to be doing this. Like, stop this right now. Stop going to the clubs. Stop doing like whatever. Like, you're a professional athlete now. You can't be messing around with these type of people. Like, and it's just really unfortunate that this stuff has to happen for them to learn that, like, learn how to be around people, because they just, for such the formative years of their life, they can't go anywhere without being recognized as a footballer, as a player, as an athlete, as a superstar, as a celebrity. And you let that get to your head. And this is the type of thing that happens when you let that get to your head.
Right. I also think, and I agree with you 100%, you know, and I know you're not, you know, I know you're not defending those actions or anything, but I also think that you look at another cause of that as well, like you said, a big indicator is a lot of players, not every player, but a lot of these players, especially in London, especially players like Antony from Brazil and stuff, a lot of these guys, this was an escape. This was a route of escape from poverty areas.
Yeah.
You know, not having good, not even like father or motherly figures, but just good general people around them, you know, good influences. And, you know, when you essentially grow up on the streets, you idolize what the streets idolize. And that's not always good. And you're right. When you idolize what the streets idolize, you idolize money, you idolize wealth, power, and you idolize the, for lack of better words, the mistreating of women. We see it all the time in rap. We see it all the time in lots of other sports, you know. And it's, you're right. I think these clubs, when you're gonna bring in players from those types of areas, because like that's not just a Brazil thing. That's here in some places in the United States, Mexico, Colombia, you know, you go into some places like even in London and other places in England, you know, that's
everywhere.
It's everywhere. That's not just a nation thing. That's a world thing. And I think that clubs need to start looking at United and go, we need to bring in, and I know Arsenal have a coach that does this, but they need to bring in someone that, you know, checks in on them, talks to them, has, you know, actual, like, not therapists, but like
Just
mental coaches and relationship coaches. And people that can sit there and go like, hey, listen, we know what you're doing out here. This isn't good. And not just as like not being like, this isn't good for the club. This is not good for you. You know, and I think that a lot of players, you know, and this is also a thing of the Dele Alli interview that recently came out. I don't know if any of you guys watched it, where he came out and basically said, you know, he didn't really have anybody and he didn't really speak about the issues he had with drug abuse and lots of different things during his, right now, even at his career at Everton, you know. I think that we need to give these players somebody, or, you know, have systems in place to prevent these things from kind of happening.
And I know it's just a TV show, but like, Jose, you've seen Ted Lasso.
I have seen Ted Lasso.
I don't know if maybe some clubs do this, but like in Ted Lasso, Ted hires a therapist that his players start like going to, and like in being able to open up leads to them having better results on the field and becoming better people. And like, I wish more and I'm not saying it's the club's fault. Also, it is obviously the players' fault. It's Antony's fault. It's Mason Greenwood's fault. That's it. I'm not saying it's the club's fault. It's their fault. But I just wish more clubs would have like mental health advisors, you know, like relationship advisors, therapists. Like with athletes, like physical health is all that matters to people. No one cares what's going on in an athlete's head, and it really sucks because, you know, like mental health is arguably more important. It just is. So I wish clubs would bring on therapists, mental health advisors, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to help these young men actually be men.
Yeah, and for because I've seen a lot of people especially with right now because it's so recent the Antony charges with Brazil dropping him for the friendlies. Everyone's always
Did they?
Yeah, they dropped him. He's not. They're doing their own investigation. To my understanding, they're looking into that whole situation, but until then, he's not part of the squad. And I know a lot of people are upset because they're like, well, he wasn't charged. He wasn't, a lot of things are still in the air. But I think that
the charges happened. The crime happened in Brazil, right?
I think it
Yeah.
may have been in Brazil. I'm not sure.
It was in
So
Brazil.
that's why they had
Brazilian-
to drop him to let the police do their investigation.
Investigation, yeah.
They just had to, since it came out right before.
Yeah, I
think
said,
if it would have been
during or after.
Yeah, I don't know. During him, they might have just like kept him in the shadows and not really like spoke about it. Just said we're gonna let the authorities perform their shit and just move on.
Right.
Afterwards, if it was like right after the international break ended, and there was a long gap between breaks, I think they would have just not said anything until it was necessary. I think this was damage control. I think
it was, and I also think not even just damage control, but also I think like Eddie was saying, we don't really take into account what players also think and how they feel, and I'm sure there's a lot of Brazilian players that also probably weren't a fan of when they heard that came out. I'm not saying that all of them, everyone's squeaky clean, but I also think that Antony. Because I've seen people online going that, Antony should be called up to the Brazilian national team. This is ridiculous. Like, nothing's been proven. Like, they should just let him play. But I also think that you don't have any right to play for your national team regardless. And I know that this situation comes up. Like, that sucks for Antony, but I also think that you're representing your nation as well. And that, the nation also have the right to be like, no, we're good. You're not gonna get called up. And for anyone that doesn't agree with that, that's perfectly fine. But I also think that if you want to look at it on a footballing level, he also is shit and doesn't deserve to play for Brazil. Like he's not been good enough. So
it's also why create a circus for friendly games.
Yeah, and also like we were saying, like you're probably right. It probably is damage control. They probably don't want to represent that. But I also think that like me and Eddie were just saying about kids, what they idolize. I think that putting someone like Antony with all those allegations on his head at the moment, if he's proven innocent, then fine, no big deal. But as of right now, I don't think it's a good idea to promote that in that type of environment in Brazil, Like, and that's just, that might be what they're thinking. They're probably not. I'm probably giving them way too much credit. But, I mean, I think that it's just brands, it's money,
I also want to protect the alleged victim as well from anything, really.
Yeah, but I also think that you can say that like, oh well, we're gonna protect him. We're not gonna call him up. He can fly to Brazil if he really wanted to during the international.
I'm not talking about
probably
Antony.
in Brazil. He's probably in Brazil.
I'm talking about the victim. I'm not talking about Antony.
I know what I'm saying is they can't really do anything to protect her. Like if he wants to go to Brazil, he'll fucking go to Brazil. You know what I mean? Right. Like there's
he's
like
probably there for the investigation. Like he.
Yeah,
I don't think he's in Manchester right now.
Well, it depends on where was he. Was the alleged crime committed in Brazil?
Yeah, I think
it was in Brazil.
The entire Brazilian Federation is undergoing this investigation.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like they can investigate all they want, but like, I highly doubt they've got cops on him 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they do around her, but. I just think that
I'm sure he's got some kind of security detail or something
right
now.
Right, but I don't know. I feel like yes, they want to protect the victim and they rightfully should, but I also think that we don't know the full extent of what they're actually doing to protect said victim. So,
right.
I don't know if they've got security all over her. I don't know if she's in a safe place, if she's hidden, like, who's to say?
I mean, it could be also that his lawyers told him to chill out.
That's
At the end of the day, it's his career. If he attacks her, it's his career.
Yeah, but I also think that I said in our group chat the other day, like he's such a hothead. Like I don't think he is. I mean, you look at him like at least even when he plays, like I think the reactions are way up here for certain things, for the smallest of things. And I think that after I think it's an assumption, obviously, but I think it wouldn't be unfair to assume that he reacts like that to the smallest things in his personal life as well. the way he reacts. I'm not saying that he's swinging and fighting immediately, but I wouldn't be surprised if he blew up like that. So
He's also really shit.
he is really shit. But I think we can get on, a more positive note and finish this up, with the actual
Spurs.
potential title race, dark horses of the season, Tottenham Hotspurs.
I can't believe you said that.
I think it's true.
I knew you were gonna roll your eyes at that, Abdul.
I just, I think that you look at the way they're playing. Are there still? Let me ask you this, Eddie. Let me formulate a question. Obviously, Tottenham look good. There are still some growing pains there. They're not a finished article by any means, but signs are all pointing in a very good direction right now under Ange. What do you think are the expectations as of right now? Obviously, it's 4 games in, but what do you think right now under Ange? What would you be happy with at this moment?
What would I be happy with? European football, any kind.
So finishing in the top 7 places, or is it 8 places now?
Yeah. Obviously, right now, if we're playing really well right now, it'd be kind of damn. If we were to fall all the way down to Conference League, I'd be wow, whatever. Think of where we were at the start of the season, but I know Rome wasn't built in a day, so I would still be happy as long as we get in Europe after finishing 8th last season. But that game on, when was it? Saturday was the type of game that we would have lost under Conte, Stellini, Ryan Mason, Jose, the tail end of Jose. That was the type of game we would have lost because we went down early, I think 12 minutes in, and we never would have found a way to come back and let alone score 5 goals. So attack-wise, as long as Son has to play up top now. Son has to play as the 9 because he put up a hat trick as the 9, and Solomon looked every bit a fine replacement. 2 for Son, 2 assists. He was really, really good. Richarlison, I'm willing to eat crow. He ain't it. It's time to put Son as the starting 9 every week because the team just looked so deadly every time. Every single time they were on the ball in the attacking third, I thought we were going to score because Son up top just unlocked something. Still questions about the defense. I'm not really worried about the second goal. It was just a leaky late goal, whatever. We were already 5-1 up. The first goal was where I was the first goal had me really we're really about to lose to Burnley. The defense was tragic in the first goal. And even after the first goal, Burnley looked really good for the first 15 minutes, but I could also tell they poured everything they had into those first 15 minutes because after we equalized, they were never in the game again. So, yeah, it was another really inspiring Ange W.
Do you think when in December comes and AFCON comes, African Cup of Nations, do you think that's going to derail the form at all with Sarr and Bissouma being the 2 players that are going to be leaving that squad?
Well, we'll have Bentancur back by then, so that doesn't worry me that he has to step in and start because he was our only good midfielder last season. So him behind Madison, I'm not worried about him. It's just
Højbjerg.
Who's going to take? Yeah, is Højbjerg going to step up? Is Skip going to step up? Probably not. So I would like us to buy another midfielder. Luckily, AFCON is in January, so maybe buy. I'm not saying go out there and spend 100 mil, but buy I don't know, maybe a younger, promising midfielder, someone that can just fill that role while Bissouma's gone, and then eventually just be his backup. I don't think there's any harm in that because I just don't believe in Højbjerg and Skip for an entire month.
Right.
One game, I'd be okay, fine. I think we can get by with 1 game, but for a whole month, no. But as long as Bentancur is there, I think we will be all right.
I have 3 questions for you.
3? Oh, shit.
First of all, you said Son at the 9. I can understand that because I've told you before, Richarlison's ass, hot ass.
I said I'm eating crow on that one.
No, I'm not taking shots at you. I'm saying like, but does the 9? This is Burnley. Burnley is they're a good promoted team, but they're still a promoted team. Will Son be able to perform to his abilities at the 9? Do you want to what's the word? You want to like take away Son's best ability on the left just to take out Richarlison from the team? Or would you rather put in the kid that you guys bought, let him bed in the 9 and let Son dictate the game from the left? Because this is Burnley, you gotta think about higher quality.
You know, I would say I would say no. Like I would say I agree that we should just let Son play out wide where he's his natural position. But look at the last season and the 4 games he started for us this season at left wing. He took a big drop off last season, and I know last season was tumultuous and all over the place, and kind of a joke. But even in the first few games this season, he didn't really do anything. He wasn't really impacting the game. He wasn't really impressing me at all. It was really all coming from James Maddison. So, I'm willing to run that risk of maybe he disappears. Maybe it doesn't work against the bigger teams, the better teams. But we're never gonna know that until we try. So I'm willing to give it a shot.
And that leads into my next question.
Hold on. Here's a fun stat real quick that I came upon the other day. Son's take-on percentages have dropped dramatically. It dropped down from last season to now, I believe, to 40%. That's his take-on wins on the left. I don't know if that changes any mindset. I think I'm with you, Eddie. I think he'd be probably better in the midfield at that point, or in the center role in that point, because he can still finish.
That leads into my next question then. Maddison's been great. Maddison's injury prone. What the fuck happens to Spurs? He's pretty injury prone.
Not really. Played quite a bit of games last season, as well as the few.
I mean, to be fair, he has already picked up a knock this season, but he didn't even have to miss any games.
Right, and that was the biggest question mark for me is Maddison can be injury prone. He's great as play him when you have him, but I think the team might struggle if he's out. And because he's such a good fucking player, but
he's not really injury prone at all.
I think if he were to miss time, and look, I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say like, oh yeah, whenever Ange has an injured midfielder, he switches to this and he brings in these. I don't know. I don't know what he does when he has a key player go out. I don't know if he changes his tactics at all. It might just be next man up mentality. I don't know. But we do have Lo Celso. I know he hasn't been great, but maybe a run of games he can pick up that form again. And yeah, Ange might just switch up the midfield, switch up the way he lines up the midfield. So I really don't have an answer for you because I really don't want it to happen. But also I don't know.
It's also not going to happen because he's not injury prone.
Okay, well, don't say that it's not going to happen.
I mean, I'm not saying he's immune to injuries. No one is, but he's not injury prone like Abdon's making him out to be. And to prove it, I went on FootMob to see his stats.
He's played a lot of games.
He plays a lot of games. He doesn't miss very many games. And some of those games he probably misses because of injury. But I know, I don't think it was last season, but the season before that, he missed a few games because of disciplinary issues. So that might be the only reason why he might sit out some games. But he doesn't miss games. He really doesn't.
I mean, he misses stretches of games.
Well, what's a stretch?
4 or 5 games. A
That is a
season, in transition can be ruined in 4 or 5 games.
Right. That is a
And
month. You're right.
and that was my next point. Is you guys are flying high right now. Can Ange pull it back up if Tottenham go down? As in like dip in form. Can he pull it back up? Of course, you don't have the history to answer that question. Just food for thought. Right now, you're flying high with Madison and Son scoring and all this and all that. Madison gets a little knock. He's out for 3-4 games. It's a bad stretch. Form can dip.
Yeah, you're right. It can. And we'll have to see. Only time will tell if something like that happens. We'll just have to see what kind of manager he is and what kind of team this is. And like the depth is probably not there to sink down and like sink. Let's theoretically say sink from second right now down to eighth, maybe eighth or ninth, and then get back up to second. The depth isn't there, but to sink down to eighth and get back to fourth, I think is possible. Brandon,
Are you at all worried about your form after the international break? We've seen like teams, differ dramatically after an international break.
yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I guess that is a little bit of a concern, but
And injuries potentially. Dude, I hate international break.
I don't even know who our first game back is. Let me see. It's Sheffield United at home. So
Oh God, never mind.
yeah, I think we should be all right.
Damn it.
Okay, but it's Arsenal after that. It's Arsenal after that.
Oh, yo,
Nah,
I'm low
easy.
key. I'm low key worried.
And Liverpool.
You should be worried.
Actually, I'm high key worried. I think Spurs was gonna wipe the floor with us. To be honest.
Go ahead, Jose.
I think they bring up good points, but I think one thing that Ange has that I don't think a lot of other coaches have recently had, except I don't even think Pep Guardiola really has had it. I think that Ange seems like a motivator. He seems like much more of a motivational kind of coach and really understands how his players feel. I'm not obviously there on the training ground, but from what I can gather, he really seems to kind of really knows the status of his team. Whereas I think had this been any other coach like Conte or it had been Jose Mourinho, they would be dropping players, they would be reaming players in training, they would be, basically, for lack of better words, challenging them. But I think that Tottenham's squad is really benefiting from someone that's not challenging them, but giving them that confidence and going, no, I believe in you. I think we don't see a lot of those types of coaches when it comes to leagues. We see them a lot during international teams. And no, it's fine. I'm gonna let him talk in a second. But I think that even if Tottenham were to lose a game, I don't think Ange panics. I think Ange goes, we're going to go again. We know the style we want to play. We know what we need to do to play that style. We just have to go out and do it. But I don't think it'll be this whole thing of like, we're changing tactics. We're changing personnel. I think he would sit there and go, we're not expected to do anything more than, like most people suggested to, or most people were saying he was only going to get 3 games. So already he's exceeded expectations. So I personally think that he'll do great. I'm with you. I think that even if the form drops, he'll be fine. Abdon.
I mean, only thing I was gonna say that is we have had personal experience with the motivator.
Who?
And it did not work.
Who?
Lampard?
Potter.
Oh, Potter.
Potter had his master's in human fucking psychology and how to like motivate people or whatever the fuck it was.
Right, but what else? What else did I say during this whole thing?
What?
I also said that I don't think that Poch would panic. I think Poch would go to them and go, "We know the style of football we want to play."
Oh,
he wouldn't be, or I'm sorry, Ange. I'm sorry, I don't know. I said Poch.
Yeah.
I think Ange would go, wouldn't change the style of play, wouldn't change the formations. They have a distinct way they want to play. Whereas Potter, dude, we didn't have a style of play under Potter. You know what I mean? Like he was.
I know that's what I'm saying, but we looked amazing until the international break, with the World Cup break, and then came back and the wheels fell the fuck off.
Yeah,
So I'm just saying, it can look good. Just hold on, let him take a hit, a bump,
let him cook.
let him cook, let him let him get there and then see if he can pull it back out. Okay.
The only thing I would say that, like, I agree with you, international break could throw it off, but we're talking about a World Cup international break that was like a month long versus like 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
So-
No, I'm not saying it's the same exact thing as last year. I'm just saying.
But I understand what you
Things
mean.
can happen.
Yeah,
a lot of things can happen.
I understand what you mean. I don't disagree. I also do, though, think one thing, the difference between, so far that I've been able to see between Potter and Ange is, like, Ange seems like he fits in as a coach. You know what I mean? Like, he just, when you look at him, you go, oh, yeah, that's a head coach. At Chelsea, I don't think you looked at Potter and go, yeah, he's a head coach. That makes sense. I think with Ange,
Potter just didn't fit the fucking club.
that's what I mean. I don't think he fits the club. I think Ange fits Tottenham like a glove.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. They're very similar in that sense, but I just think it's a better relationship there.
And another thing that I meant to bring up that I just remembered, and it's kind of all leads back to what you just said about Ange fitting Tottenham like a glove, is that, like, kind of sneakily, I don't know how much Levy has to do with this, how much, like, I don't know what the ratio is, but kind of sneakily, like, the full-on rebuild is, like, actually happening. Like, Sanchez, we fucked him off to Galatasaray. And Ndombele, he's gone. It sounds like Ashley Phillips, the 18-year-old center back we signed from Blackburn, is basically going to take Sanchez's spot. Sarr, like, is fully now the midfield. Like, we're actually bringing in these youth players and we're actually using them. And we're actually giving Ange a chance to use his guys. And he picked this talent out, and he's actually, getting to. It's not like, oh, well, we brought in, what's his fucking name? The one thing is, like, Valise. Like, we brought him in, and it's like, oh, he's not, apparently he's not ready, so he's not going to play. Like, whatever, that's fine, I guess. 19-year-old striker having to adjust to the Prem is really tough. But, like, with Phillips and, like, Sarr and some of these other young guys, there's another center back that's going to get chances. I can't remember his name. But, like, it's nice to see that it feels like the full-on rebuild. Like, Eric Dyer hasn't sniffed the field yet. Like, it seems like the rebuild is actually happening for once, is what I'm getting at. So, I don't know. That's very promising. It's just, will these players pan out is the question. Or how many will is the question. Because, not every teenager you sign is going to pan out. It's just
right. I think they will, though,
That's a
because
$1 billion question.
Yeah, you know all about it.
See, I'm trying to figure out a way to phrase it.
And
But, like,
Ange is a
he's
really
never-
good talent evaluator.
Yeah, because he's at Celtic, and I don't want to disrespect Celtic, but going to Celtic to Tottenham is a huge jump.
Yeah.
And I know he's not at the club anymore, but he did train with Harry Kane, and so he could tell like there's levels between Harry Kane and whoever was at Celtic. So he just knows how to navigate with, I guess, smaller players. And he wasn't super bummed. Like, I think every manager, if it was any other manager at Tottenham, I think they would have been really bummed to lose Harry Kane. Whereas, like, Ange is like, yeah, it sucks I lost Harry Kane, but I've also managed a team without a player like Harry Kane. So I think that's a huge point. I think that's a huge difference between, like, any other manager, because I think so many, like, Conte and Mourinho were like, he's our go-to guy. Like, he's got to be the guy for everything, and if we don't have him, we're fucked. But, like, he knows how to operate a team without someone like Harry Kane. So I think his evaluation for talent for recruitment is like, I don't want to bash those guys either because they're good at their job too, but like he pretty much has to scrap like at the bottom of the barrel because that's all he was ever used to up until now. So
Yeah, that is a good point. Like he really kind of couldn't have been bothered by losing Harry Kane. Like
yeah,
I wonder if I don't know. Like if I were Harry Kane, I would kind of be like, wait, really? Like you don't care that I'm gone? Like did you see what I was doing for
I
this
don't
club?
know if he's
Like,
flat out said he doesn't care if Harry Kane left, but that's just the vibe I got. And
No,
that's also,
yeah, I mean, he was kind of just he was
He
like
did.
obviously Harry Kane's a phenomenal player. Like it would have been great to have him, but like he wasn't all broken up, like
right.
saying, "Oh, like I don't know what this team's gonna do without Kane." Blah blah blah. Like, nah, like he'll be fine.
Yeah, like
And
he
he'll be fine. without Harry Kane.
like he came out recently in an interview, or maybe it wasn't recently, but maybe it was after Kane left, maybe like 2 weeks ago, maybe it was this week, I'm not sure. But they asked him about it. They're like, were you like upset that Harry Kane left? And he literally went, no. We since I've been here, we've talked about it, so it's not a surprise. But he said that, like he wants to leave. That's great. While he's here, he's part of the club, so he'll be training with us. I'll be playing him. But he was like, but no, we weren't. I'm not shocked by him moving. That's something we have spoken about.
Yeah.
So I
don't want to kill the confidence of the team by being heartbroken about a player leaving.
exactly.
Right.
Especially when this saga has predated Ange by like fucking 3 different managers. Like,
Yeah.
like he's not going to cry over spilled milk that stayed for a little too long. He's gonna hopefully get the backing from Levy, and just move on with his life. It's not even about him having managed teams that didn't have a Harry Kane, mercurial type player. It's just about being professional and knowing that you can't shit on your team just because one player left.
You can't throw your players under the bus
You can't.
like certain managers will.
You're not gonna dip expectations because he left. You're going to keep the expectation high and be understanding if they don't meet those expectations, but you're still gonna keep them high.
It's
Right.
weird seeing a manager manage. It's weird.
We'll never know, but I think that the Spurs team is better off without Kane,
Probably. I agree.
I think so too.
especially under Ange. So
I don't think Kane would have worked.
I think that's kind of why he's not bothered.
I think Kane was
And
the
I
perfect
think Ange
striker.
I think Ange knows that too, and I think Ange can't say he knows he can't say
Yeah.
that because that's like a terrible PR move. But I think he knows that his team is better without Kane.
Yep.
I thought I didn't mean it like that when I said I just thought about that. That sounds sarcastic, dude. And I was like, wow, look, imagine it manages. I didn't mean it like that, my
I thought
boy.
that was a shot at Punch. I was like,
No, not like that. I meant as in like a sense that a lot of managers, they
Not
don't.
at Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Brandon.
Thinking managers.
You've been relevant for 2 years. Pipe the fuck down, my lord. Anyways,
What do you mean?
still haven't
What do you
still haven't
mean?
won anything.
Relevant
Still
for
haven't
2
won anything.
years.
Still haven't won anything.
no, been relevant for 2 years. You finished fifth and you finished second. You want a cookie? No.
Won an FA Cup.
Oh my god. We won Champions League 3 years ago. I don't want to hear anything. So anyways.
Also, it was
last
with Anthony
And we won the FA
Taylor on the
Cup
field.
last
It was with
season. And
Anthony
the
Taylor on the
Premier
field.
League. The one that we
Okay.
stole from you guys.
Anyways, my point was, with all that being brought up, was that I think, like you said it, a lot of coaches wouldn't, they would drop expectations. They would be upset. They would start making excuses. And, like, the whole point of being a manager is to manage when things get tough. And he just goes, yeah, we'll manage it. It's fine. It's just strange because, lots of the other coaches have been like, we'll just buy someone really quickly to fill that spot. He's like, no, I'm just going to manage it. It's fine.
Well, they brought in the kid, and you're not that late in the window. You're not going to buy someone that will play the 9 at a high level. So you're not going. Don't
Right.
be.
You're not gonna
like
panic
fucking
buy.
Chelsea. Yeah, don't panic buy and buy a fucking pemier for 25 million. Like
Yeah. Yeah, and I
save the money and go back in January. Maybe they can go for Antony in January. Who the fuck knows?
exactly. That's what I mean. That's what
They
I
have the
mean.
money.
Instead of panic buying, he said, "We'll manage. It's fine. We'll manage." That's what I mean. Like, well, we've seen a lot of coaches in the past go, "No, we gotta get someone in right now," and he's like, "No, we'll manage." It's just strange. It's like refreshing almost.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
You're
if this was
telling me,
Klopp,
man.
yeah.
you
I
be
believe
throwing a
it.
fit every press conference.
Who?
Klopp.
Well,
Oh,
Klopp
Klopp is such a baby.
Klopp
That's what I'm
is.
saying.
We're seeing the Jose Mourinho arc of Klopp is what's happening.
Wait, did
The
Salah go to Saudi Arabia?
Mourinhoification.
No, but the
No.
window's still open. I
That's
think in
getting
Saudi
crazy.
Did
Arabia.
you see the offer or the rumored offer?
200?
What was it, like
million?
215 million or something?
Yeah.
20 pounds.
Stupid.
Take it. Rebuild Liverpool.
Bro,
They
I'm
can't
saying, dude,
rebuild
he
until
turned-
January, though.
That's why you start
That's
doing that
fine.
rebuild now.
That's fine. Just take the
it
money.
turned
Yeah,
out when-
just take the money.
If they,
dude.
I
if
think
they,
they'll
if
still
the
get
rumors
top
are true,
four.
and he comes
They
in with the
started off
200
too
mil,
well.
there's
started
no
off
way
too
he's
well.
going to say no to that.
Liverpool
They-
started off too well.
No.
They started off too well to sell them. If they would have started off with maybe like 1 win and three draws, like fuck it, yeah, just
They don't
sell
need
them.
him.
But how
They
important
low-key
has
don't need
Salah
him.
been in
They
those?
need him.
They don't though.
They don't.
They don't.
They have
need
so
him.
much
To
forward.
challenge-
Salah
They
is
don't
the
need
Harry
him.
Kane.
To challenge for the title, they need him.
They're not challenging.
Salah is
Salah
Liverpool's Harry Kane.
Salah is Liverpool's Harry Kane, 100%.
We're not gonna say
Well,
it's
that's not
working
true
out for
because Salah
Tottenham
won
right now.
trophies.
It's gonna work out for Liverpool.
They're not going to win the title.
Yeah, I don't think they're challenging for the
If it-
title.
They have a chance with Salah. They have no chance without Salah.
I
don't think
Flip it
disagree.
off right now.
I disagree.
Yeah, I
Flip it
disagree.
off right now.
I 100.
I'm
disagree.
flipping off
Don't
Daniel's
point at the
Because
there's-
don't point at the
there's-
camera and
there's-
expect me to know who you're pointing at.
I'm
There's
flipping
teams that
off
don't have
Daniel.
Salah that have a chance of winning the league.
Well, no, I'm just saying that Mo Salah isn't like Harry Kane because he won titles.
Oh.
I'm gonna kick him. I don't know. I'm gonna kick him. I don't like. No, I'm just kidding.
That was stupid. Unnecessary.
Stop it. I'm about to take your admin proper stuff away. Can't be doing all this, Daniel.
Yeah, get rid of his privileges.
That's you, Eddie. You're the owner of
One
this.
time.
Yeah, twice.
No.
Once
I
is
don't
a
know who
coincidence.
did it.
Once is a coincidence.
Oh,
Twice is a
Brandon
pattern.
did. Brandon did the
No,
cricket toss.
someone
Take
was
both of them
privileged.
away.
I don't know who that
Take
I
both of
don't,
them
I don't know
away.
how to do that. I don't know how to do
It
that.
was Abdon. He's over there just smiling in the corner. But,
Yeah, it is Abdon.
yeah.
Yeah. The first bottoms was me. Everything else has not been me.
Hey,
But-
the fucking cricket was perfect though, because
Yeah,
no
it
one laughed.
was.
It was.
No one laughed.
I did.
But
Yeah,
no,
no one.
I think Liverpool would be good even with. I mean, it looks like Salah doesn't really want to even be there, honestly, at points. I mean, just let him go.
They don't need him.
They need him to
He's won
challenge for the
everything
title,
that he could
possibly.
win at Liverpool.
I'm not saying they're gonna
They're
win.
not going to challenge with him.
They have more of a chance with him than they don't without him. They're not able to replace him in the summer either way.
Let me ask you a question.
There's no
though.
one to replace Salah.
They have
The-
more
the-
chance with him than they don't without him.
Let me.
To
But
challenge for the title, yeah.
Adam, but when you look
Without
at
him?
their squad, don't you think that money because they're top heavy, like they have a lot of attackers, and everyone's always been talking about putting Trent up as a right winger because he basically plays the position anyways. It's a different profile than Salah, but why not just take the Salah money? You're right. You're not going to replace Salah, so don't worry about replacing Salah. Worry about bolstering that midfield and reinvesting in the defense.
You know who their solid
Here, let me-
replacement could be?
Let me pull up the calendar right now. Let me see what day it is. It's a September 5th, right?
They could just.
I'm not talking about right now.
Yeah, right.
I'm not talking about right now, but I mean,
They got to go half a season without fucking Salah.
that's
So,
fine. You manage.
You're saying they're top. You're saying they're top heavy.
Let me ask you a question.
They're gonna be equally shit at that point.
Let me ask you a question. Is Tottenham a better squad than Liverpool? On paper, in your opinion,
No.
if they lose Salah, is Tottenham a better squad than Liverpool on paper?
No.
No, but we're not
So
talking
then-
about Liverpool.
so then
against
I know, but my thing is, so let Klopp manage.
But
Klopp
we're
is
not talking about Liverpool wanting to just make top 5. Liverpool always have the aspirations with Salah and with Klopp to challenge for the title. Whether they'll make it is another question. But they still are in contention for it always, as long as they have Salah, who's firing on all cylinders, who's playing better now than he did 3 years ago whenever they won the title. Like, why are you gonna throw it away and possibly challenge for the title? You don't know who the fuck is gonna win right now. It's City. It's City that they're the by far favorites, but Arsenal might fucking capitulate. City might have an injury to Haaland, injury to fucking De Bruyne, and injury to Foden, and they're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you gonna risk it for 220 million, who you cannot replace? They can spend the 220 million on whoever the fuck you want. They cannot replace him.
You're not okay, but you're not going to be able to replace him when his contract runs out either. You're not going to be able to replace him once he's gone. So why not move on from him now? Start prepping for that because either way,
when does he leave?
I don't know his contract date. Let's say he leaves at the next summer, right? Let's see if he leaves next summer. Let's say he leaves next summer for less than 200 and mil. You can't replace him either way. And by the looks of it, Salah's not going to stay at Liverpool for much longer. I think we can all kind of see that. Liverpool needs Salah. Salah doesn't need Liverpool, right? So I think that you can't just sit there and go, like, yes, I understand you want to challenge your titles, but if you can't replace them anyways, you need to start looking at that squad and go, where can we reinvest? And if you're going to lose him in a year, okay, if you lose him now, you may not challenge for a title. You're not going to drop down to 8th or 9th place without Salah. You know? You're not. Because you also have...
You never know. They finished 8th with Salah.
Yeah, so then why not? So then risk it.
What do they get relegated without Salah?
I'm not gonna get relegated.
That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. But either way,
well, they're not in Europe.
Either way, here's another point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they sell it right now for 220 mil.
Mm-hmm.
What is every single team going to do next summer? They're going to charge Liverpool out the ass. So they did it.
So you have to be smarter than Chelsea were. And go for players that are within the age range of 25 to 28 that aren't at a super high level. When they brought Mo Salah, no one thought, "Oh my God, Mo Salah, world beater." They bought
like,
smart.
25.
He was 24, but no one looked at him and goes, "Oh my God, he's world class talent." No one thought that. Everyone was like, "That's already a Chelsea flop in the Premier League." You have to go look for players that aren't of a high reputation. You have to go look at players that are playing well. And they can, come into a squad.
At Rome, to be fair.
No. As in world class. As in world class. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
You have to look at players that are playing well that aren't looked at and people are going like, that's a world beater. You know?
Right.
Like, of course, now Salah looks like a world beater.
All right, quick question.
Okay.
Have they replaced Mane?
No, and they can't replace Mane, and they're not going to replace Firmino. That was a trio that came in. They did their own unique thing. You cannot expect every trio to be the same. So now that you've lost 2 of the 3 trio that made you guys this, powerhouse in Europe, it's time to move on from it. You're trying to build around Salah, but Salah doesn't want to be there. You've already got Darwin Núñez. You've already got Cody Gakpo.
Has he said that?
By the looks of it, for one, even if he doesn't want to be there,
he's performing right now, so it doesn't even look like he's fucking pissed off.
Even if he doesn't, even if he isn't saying that he wants to leave, realistically, he will most likely go. There's been too many flirts with transfers. Or I think that even if they stays for another year, you're losing him regardless. That's not a player that you're keeping. You can't you can't say and tell me he is. It almost is just guaranteed to leave.
Take the 220.
I mean,
take the 220.
Every player is guaranteed to leave.
Exactly. So I might as well take the 220.
Take the 220 by Mbappe.
No. Oh God, that's an awful idea.
Take the 220 and get Mbappe for free.
That's a better idea.
That is going to.
You know who they should buy?
That is going to just.
Rafael Leao.
Dude, if they get Leao, oh my God.
But they'll pay.
Player.
But then you'll pay the. But then you pay the 200 million. What's the point of?
I was gonna say Kavicha.
Oh,
but those 2 players again. You're spending all your money on one of those 2 players when
that's what you're gonna have to do to replace Salah.
You're not replacing Salah though. If you sell Salah, if you don't sell Salah, you keep Salah. If you sell Salah,
that $20 million kid.
No, you're not listening to me because you're acting like they need to replace the right wing position when in reality they need to reinvest in the squad like they did when Felipe Coutinho left. They need to buy players in different positions.
Yeah,
you keep sitting there going, they need to replace Salah. I'm saying, fuck Salah, fuck the right wing position, fuck all of that. You don't need to replace him. Don't worry about replacing him. You've got enough talent that can fit in the right wing, right? You got enough talent that's proven that can just sit there and actually figure it out, unlike you want to do with a 20-year-old at Chelsea. You actually have enough talent that you can go in and go, you can play right wing until we get a replacement. But they need more defensive, recruitments. They need more defensive recruitments. They need to just reinvest in the squad. If you sell Salah and you're just going to spend it on another winger, don't even sell Salah.
I'm gonna have to agree with Jose on this one. The whole squad needs to be refreshed. They need more depth.
I'm gonna be honest. If they sell Salah at that point, they should just sell Van Dijk and Allison.
No, keep Allison. Sell Van Dijk. Van Dijk's not what he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He hasn't been the same since Pickford injured him. So sell Salah.
They're not gonna last that long. So might as well just sell high.
Yeah, sell them.
They're both older. So
yeah, sell them. Sell them. I agree with you. I say sell both of them. Reinvest in younger.
How ridiculous that sounds? Because you sell Wing and sell all three of them.
You said two, Van Dijk and Salah.
I'm including Salah.
Oh, you mean Allison? Allison. The Allison one makes no sense to sell. Because Allison's only 30. Yeah, he's 29. Like, he's entering his peak as a goalkeeper.
By the time Liverpool make it back to the top, it might be another 3-4 years. Klopp might not be there.
You're right. His prime.
You're right. You may not be there, but goalkeepers are a different situation because most times goalkeepers don't leave. If he leaves, that's a whole different situation. Now you're gonna have to go buy a different goalkeeper. Either way, but you don't have to buy. When they bought Allison, yeah, they bought a world class goalkeeper. I'm not disagreeing with you there. They took Felipe Coutinho money, and instead of buying a replacement for Felipe Coutinho, they bought a center back and a goalkeeper. They added to a spine of a team that ended up going to challenge for Champions Leagues and challenge for a Premier League title consistently. Like, the players that you're saying that they need to replace, they bought Mane for 20-something mil. They bought Salah for 30 mil. I think Fabinho was not Fabinho. Firmino was another 40 mil. They weren't spending. They spent money, but it wasn't crazy money. I don't even think he went for that. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he went for less than 20.
He probably did. I have no idea. I think it was around. I was somewhere in there. What's up?
Did Fabinho get sold?
Yeah, Fabinho went to Qatar, I believe.
I think he left on a free.
Whatever it was. But I just you keep putting this picture of they need to replace the players they're selling. And I'm telling you, the squad itself, even with these players, like you said, they finished 8th. Selling these players, you aren't going to drastically drop off. You're not. Okay, if you do, you drop to 11th. All right, whatever. It's time to rebuild anyways. It's been time to rebuild Liverpool.
It's also harsh whenever the last 2 seasons they've been in an injury crisis as well.
I mean, they rebuilt the midfield.
They brought in Slazabay and they brought in McAllister. Those are great buys. They brought in Endo as a panic buy because they needed a
brought
DM.
In Brozovic. What the fuck is his name? Brozovic.
Mm-hmm.
Brozovic?
I don't remember his name. It was
from Inter.
Not Brozovic.
No, not Brozovic.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
not Brozovic. It's another one. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
We're all going to the foot mob.
Oh, I'm gonna let you guys go for mob. I'm here.
Gravenberch.
Oh yeah, that's.
They did bring it. Yeah.
That's
so then
goodbye.
Then
they already have the midfield sorted.
So good. Focusing on the defense.
Yeah.
So you're gonna sell your best attacker to fucking rebuild the defense.
Why not?
And best defender.
Does that not sound asinine?
Bro, when your best defender is out season per season because of ACL problems,
I'm not talking about Van Dijk. I'm talking about selling Salah, who's barely ever injured and is playing out of his mind right now. Best form he's had since fucking the 40-goal season.
I'm never gonna get this much money for him though.
Yeah,
we have to remember.
Yeah, that's fact.
We have to remember it's 4 games in, bro, and then there's international break. Then
but whenever it was Sanchez, it's 4 games in.
Huh?
Whenever it was Sanchez, it's 4 games in.
Sanchez.
I can't bitch about Sanchez, but you can tell me this about.
Well, no, he literally said he said the same thing.
Now, I'm telling you to relax, because I'm saying the same thing, but you're saying it's only going to get worse because it's projected to get worse, and that might be true. But bro, it's 4 games in, and then we're about to go on international break. Things can change. Yes, things can get worse, but things can also get better.
Okay.
So you have to remember that.
So what if hypothetically they don't sell Salah and it gets better and they win the title?
Do you realistically think that they're gonna win a title?
Really.
I'll tell you this right now, Abdon. Even if they win a title, that's the same thing like when Leicester won the title. Do you think they were gonna win another title that the next season that they won a title they were instantly title favorites? No. If Liverpool go on, great for them. You can still sit there and go, you won a title, great. This squad needs to be rebuilt.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you're going to sell,
Title.
yeah, that's fine. You win the title, and then what happens? You're going to finish 8th for 3 more seasons because the team gets old, and then you can't replace anyone because you have no money.
The squad needed to be rebuilt.
But you have a title, right? That makes no. Do you know how asinine that sounds? If your goals are to always compete, like you're saying Liverpool's are, they need to rebuild the squad. If you win a title, that's great.
Right now, the goal is to compete.
Yeah, the goal right now is to compete. The goal, like you said, is always to compete for Liverpool at this moment in the last. That's the standard they set for themselves. You can still sell your best player. You can still sell it. They're not the team. They're not the team.
I'm not saying that the team that was 3 years ago when they beat City by a point or whatever the fuck it was. I'm just saying, what?
Brandon, do you have a knife?
No.
What is that?
It's his key, I think. Arc's cross.
Oh, it's
a jewel.
It is a knife. What are you doing?
It's not a knife. It's a toenail.
You're scratching your neck with a toenail shaver?
All right. I wasn't trying to like
yourself live on this podcast.
Yeah.
I was not trying to interrupt or like undermine Abdon's like phrase. It just I saw that in the corner of my eye. I was like, what the fuck is going
I lost
on?
my train of thought.
I know. I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree here.
Okay.
I think that's.
We'll see what happens next week. Because I think it closes this week. The window for Saudi.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if they ended up buying him.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Personally, I think they should keep him. I don't think there's no real reason to let him go. But at the same time, if they're gonna splash $200 million on him, I also think they'd be stupid to not sell him.
If they splashed $200 million when the window was still open for Liverpool, I'd agree.
No, because they'd still panic buy.
They can still buy him.
No, not the Saudi Arabian clubs
about Liverpool.
But the English transfer window for English teams has closed, so they can get the money.
I just thought that since the Saudi league window is still open.
No, they can sell him. They just can't buy anyone to replace him with.
There can be outs.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like I think everyone. Apart from you, Abdon, I think everyone made a valid point that they're just offensively heavy. So I think it would be. I don't think it would be as much of a hit as you make it out to be.
Daniel, you're thinking about La Liga, where if one of your players gets bought and the window's not open, you can make a request to buy a player.
Well, I thought that was only between La Liga teams.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I said he's thinking about La Liga.
No, but I think
you can only buy a player from another La Liga team. Yeah, you're right.
Can they? I thought they could only sell to another. If they sold to another La Liga team, they could buy from that La Liga team. I could be wrong.
No. Barca lost some striker, and they ended up buying that one Denmark guy. What's his name?
Well, that was because Barca had a fucking City's Aguero, and he had retired, so they had to buy somebody else on an emergency.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
Would never happen in the Prem. Prem would be like, you're fucked.
Basically.
Well, no, there's emergency transfers.
No. They're called free agents.
That's only for
They're called free agents.
Yeah.
Well, no, because there was the Willy Caballero situation at Southampton last season.
The what?
Where one of their keepers, I think both of their keepers, got injured, and they made an emergency transfer.
They can sign a free agent. Yeah.
Dude, I kind of wish the Prem, if that happened, like if both your keepers got injured, I kind of wish they'd just be like, that's tough.
Take the best keeper in the championship. Let's move on.
Honestly, that would, as shitty as that would be really entertaining.
It would make the league way more interesting. Like if both your start or goalkeepers got injured, and there's like, it's tough, man. Play an outfield player there.
That's why you go to the academy.
A youth player.
You go to the academy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I just know that they made an emergency transfer and they signed. I don't know if it was last season or not, but they signed Willy Caballero during in the middle of the season.
I think he was a free agent.
Was he?
I'm 99% sure. Because that was after.
If he was, then.
Yeah, he was a free agent. That was after he left Chelsea.
Fucking Caballero.
Yeah.
I thought he got signed.
He did, but
while
you.
he was at
Should we
while he was at Chelsea.
Yeah.
should we call it?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think anyone, unless anyone has anything else to talk about. I think we covered quite a bit of content today. So
Maybe
as
if we
always,
have time, one of these days we can talk about the Champions League groups.
Yes,
'Cause
we need
get a
to.
chance talk about that.
we
Did
also
not keep it first.
was I gonna say, Brandon.
Huh?
Said we did not keep it under 2 hours.
No, we did, and we were, and then there was some
The Newcastle
disagreement.
tangent.
Yeah,
The
there was some.
Newcastle
And
tangent.
as well as the Liverpool.
I think
the
the
Liverpool
Chelsea,
tangent.
the introduction Chelsea took like half an hour.
It was 20 minutes. We actually talked about
It seemed
Arsenal.
like half.
I actually talked about Arsenal longer. I'm
You
looking
fell
at the
asleep.
time.
You fell asleep for fucking half of it. So
Yeah, I mean, it would feel like a lot. But I think we're gonna try one of these days to see who can, and we're gonna try to do we're gonna rank everyone's transfer windows. So stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe as always. Comment if you want us to talk about anything specific, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yeah.